Welcome to another submission from my part to the ESA marathon, not the November marathon, but the winter marathon this time. For November, I applied with, amongst one other run, The Witcher 3 Blood and Wine. This time I'm going to do the main game, which is any percent. On the current patch, there is a distinction between a current patch and an older patch. There's two different runs. I'm going to be running on the newest patch, 1.31, and this is, my opinion, kind of the essence of the Witcher 3 speedrun. And I'm gonna try to take you on the journey that is this run, because it's long, but it still resembles the main game, the magic of the casual playthrough in some ways. Of course, you skip most of what you can, but it's still got something to it, something special that I personally find not many other speedruns have. And of course, it's just such a nice game. So yeah, in my live split, which should hopefully be set up correctly. Yeah, you can see this is a long run, 3 hours and a bit. World record is actually 3 hours and 15 minutes, not 3 hours and 9 minutes. Reason why this says 3 hours and 9 is because I did this run with the new macro that has kind of been implemented into the Witcher speedrun. The macro, what it does, which I will also be using in this run, is it skips through dialogue really quickly. The Witcher 3 has a bunch of dialogue, of course, as in a story-based RPG. And you have to skip through every single line, which normally is done with button mashing, but since button mashing was really annoying to everyone, we decided we want to kind of switch up the rules a bit and add a program that would kind of do it for us more consistently across the board. So that's what I will be using. That's why I have this new PB, I guess, the 3 hours 15 run that was my PB and the world record with button mashing. The 309 is my current PB with the auto hotkey. So I'll see if I can even get past that. We had an idea that sub 3 hours would be possible, but with current strats that does seem a bit too far-fetched. Either way, the point of this run is to kind of just show all of it. And like I said already, take you down the journey. Before I do that though, I'll just give a couple of disclaimers. I'll actually start from the main menu. There's a couple of options that changed. None of that is really important. Yeah, I mean ETA I'm gonna give in more precision later on, but I'd say 3 hours 20 minutes is the longest it's really gonna take. Yeah. There is, again, a tiny bit of nudity, just like in Blood and Wine, but it's very short. It's like in two places, but that's it, in case that's of any importance. And other than that, I think that those are the auto hotkey and that are the two most important disclaimers. Let me quickly just explain how this whole thing works in its most basic essence. Witcher 3 is of course an RPG where you kind of level up your character, which is Geralt. And unlike in Blood and Wine, where you start at a really high level, you start at level 0 here. And each level gives you a character point, which I can use on abilities, which give me more damage. But I think that's basically the basics of how this all works. There's just mostly melee combat. The ranged combat in this game is not very useful. You don't really do damage over range, but once I get to that, I'll explain it in a bit more detail, how the range works, how ranged weapons work in this game. For now, it's time to get going. So I start the timer as soon as I press on this button, and then we go into the first cutscene. This is unfortunately an RTA timer. We're working on an auto splitter. We do not have one yet, unfortunately. For now, RTA it has to be, so I guess in a way pay to win who has the better SSD, who has the better load times. Try to make it as consistent as possible, but until an auto splitter is running, we're gonna have to live with RTA. And that's, I mean, it's more representative then of what it's actually gonna take in a marathon run. So, stop talking now and get into it. First thing that happens is a bit of a cutscene that you just skip by spamming space. Hopefully, yes, there we go. And we start out in this little dream world, facing the wrong way. I pick up the key, I go down here. This is basically the prologue. What you see me doing here, rolling, I'm gonna get a bit more into that later. It's it's got a bit of different uses to it, the fact that I'm rolling there, but for now it's just a way to move faster. So that was the prologue, a bunch of dialogue, which again I'm using that auto hotkey for, that's why it's going by so quickly. We exit this little dream prologue, which Geralt starts out in, and we are in gameplay for the first time. There's a couple ghouls here that you should fight, but you can just skip them, so I basically run onto my horse and leave them, and start going to where I have to go. The Witcher 3 has, the many percent has several different maps. This is the first one, White Orchard. It's kind of like the beginning map. You start out here and you see my first split is called White Orchard. It basically encompasses this entire segment of the first little part of this game. Go down here, we meet this man, we ask him for a couple of crowns. We're gonna try to get as many crowns as possible. Crowns is the currency in this game. Because we need to buy a couple of things across the 3 hours of this run. But yes. So we arrived in the borders of White Orchard, we arrive in this town, and we're looking for someone. We're looking for someone called Yennefer of Engelberg, and basically the first part is just an investigation as to where she is. And while investigating, Geralt has to do his first Witcher contract, which is killing a griffin. That's going to be the first boss fight in this game, and it's got a couple of things to it, but I'll talk about those once I get there. Here comes the first, I guess, real fight. I have to fight with these two peasants here that are angry that I'm entering their tavern. I try to beat them, but unfortunately I got pretty unlucky, and I got both of them to 1 HP, so I'll just have to deal with that. This fight can go a lot faster. It kind of depends, though, on whether you one-shot them or not. It's possible to one-shot them. Again, Geralt's damage increases and decreases based on what I believe is just pure RNG, just a tiny bit. So sometimes you get lucky, you hit them, and they instantly fall down. Sometimes they just stay alive with 1 HP. Anyway, technically the quest would tell me to go to 2 people and get some information, but for now I skip that because I already know that information and I just need to collect the ingredients for a couple of things. So I go here before even bothering to talk to the people. I just skip all of that. I pick up that root that only grows in the river, and I head right back onto my horse. The horse is the main mode of movement in this game. It's kind of a mess. I think I'll see that a lot throughout the run. A lot of weird things can happen with this horse. But of course, it's kind of a a love-hate relationship. It's very nice. It's a very nice horse, but it can be very buggy and glitchy, and not in a pleasant way at all. So after doing that, what you saw me do there at that stone that erects from the ground, it's called a place of power. What I do there is I get extra ability points from my character, basically. For now, I'm going to try to get up into this garrison. Technically, you're supposed to enter from the backside, but there is this little glitched way to climb up the side and enter it. And I skip a cutscene this way. I got kind of lucky there, getting up that hill or that slide. There is difficult. The hitboxes of Geralt latching onto the side are tricky and can often fail. But yeah, I enter and exit this garrison not through the main gate, but just over some kind of wall because it skips cutscenes. These are fast travel signposts. They look like this on the map, and I use them to just fast travel. Use them a lot. Wait, I actually did not mean to call my horse here. That was a mistake. You saw me rolling there again. I'm gonna wait until a better moment to explain why I do that a couple of times throughout this. I call my horse just so he runs here, and I go to this herbalist, who's technically part of a quest, but I don't go to her for the quest. I go to her to buy a couple of ingredients for a bomb called the Grape Shot, which I will be using throughout the entire run. I just crafted that. I won't need it for a while, but I just made sure I had it for now. First time I use it is actually after the split. It's very important though, it saves a lot of time just having that bomb. And now, again, the quest marker tells me to go to this one hunter, but the hunter would only show me to the Griffin's Lair, so instead of talking to the hunter, I'm just going to go to the Griffin's Lair instead, because basically that Nilfgaardian guy in the garrison that I entered told me that he would tell me where the person is who I'm looking for if I killed the griffin, because after all, I am a witcher and I kill monsters for a living. So yeah, here I go to my second place of power. Again, this is what they look like. I'm not going to activate it just yet. I'm going to actually inspect the griffin first, right here.
What remains of it, at least.
I don't need to do anything more than just look at it once, and then I run back to the place of power. I have to draw this here, and then you'll see you've gained 1 ability points. The reason I do this is because I need 3 in total as soon as I fight the griffin.
Perfect weather for a voyage.
And now I run off the edge of the map, and what this does is it allows me to fast travel to some signposts. It's kind of a neat way of getting out of situations where otherwise you'd have to ride for a long time. So I would kind of just fast travel here back to the village, talk to my Vesemir, who's like my mentor and I guess father figure as well. He's a pretty cool guy. I talk to him, I tell him I've made all preparations for the griffin fight, and I go to the place where we do fight the griffin. And this fight is more or less consistent. There's a couple of things that can happen that are inconsistent, but other than that, the griffin is a big flying creature that you have to keep on the ground, because if he flies into the air, you waste a bunch of time. Yeah, so you saw me equip a couple of things there, including 2 potions and some character points. For now, I have to wait for Vesemir to run to this place. He's coming there. I need to interact with him to start the quest. But yeah, I use those 3 character points there to equip a couple of abilities that will help me in this fight and later on. And 2 potions, which do 2 separate things. One of which I won't use yet, but for now I'm using the Thunderbolt, which is just more damage. Basically, I need to always make sure to hit the griffin as soon as he tries to fly away in order to kind of stun him and prevent him from actually going into the air. Because once he's in the air, it's really difficult to get him back down. Once you get him to half HP, which went very well this time, he flies to this windmill over here. Gotta make sure not to run into any of the horses because they completely block me. And I make it a point to try and be here faster than the griffin is, because he instantly flies away, but more often... Oh, I actually managed. That's pretty good. More often than not, even if I hit him with something, he just flies away. He kind of ignores the fact that I do damage to him. But this griffin fight was actually really, really good. Keeping him on the ground in both stages is rather rare. Usually he flies up at least once. So wait for Vesemir to go out of the way, pick up the remains of the griffin, and have it kind of take a trophy in order to take back to the Nilfgaardian to tell him that I completed his mission. The griffin will endanger no more lives. I teleport back to that garrison again with the signpost, which I uncovered there earlier. And I tell him I did his job, and he tells me where to find the person I'm looking for. And again, he offers me some gold. I have a chance to deny it. Of course, I'm not going to do that, because I need all the gold I can get. And basically now I'm ready to continue on with the quest. Now, what happens now is a little bit of a tavern fight. We used to use the bomb I crafted earlier in order to end this fight early, but you can also just use one of your magical abilities, the fire ability, to end it instantly if you do it correctly. So I'm going to do that now, not going to waste a bomb. Aim a bit to the left and basically just kill all of the enemies with one shot of my fire. If you don't aim to the left, it doesn't work, but generally it's not that difficult to pull off. So with that, my first split ends on this loading screen, and I enter a palace of the Emperor. I mean, the story's really just kind of winding, so I'm not going to go through most of it, but this is a very linear part of the story, I guess. It's very short, but basically I just have to follow this guy around for a couple of minutes. Unfortunately, there's no real way to trigger any of the quests without him being there. So I just have to wait for the NPC to walk around.
I see the gentleman is in the mood for jests. I fear the Emperor might not
It's kind of a relaxed part after that griffin fight. So yeah, I was talking about the 2 potions I equipped there into my basically my hotkeys. I use a bit of a sprint there to get ahead of him. One of those potions that I use is called the Thunderbolt. I'll use that a lot because it increases my damage, quite simple. And the other one is called the Tawny Owl, which is a stamina regen increasing potion. And stamina is kind of just the resource, I guess, that Geralt has. It just regenerates over time pretty quickly. You can't see it right now because my health bar is hidden, but it's that yellow bar in kind of a half circle underneath my health bar. And if it's full, I'm allowed to cast signs, which are my magical abilities. That fire sign that I used to end the tavern fight, that was one of those magical signs. There's 4 others, there's 5 in total. And they have several different purposes. I'll use, I believe, all of them throughout the run in some way. But yeah, the Tawny Owl increases my stamina regeneration so that I can cast those signs more quickly in succession. There we go. I had to follow that Chamberlain again for a while, but I talked to that person. That was the one I was looking for, by the way. And yeah, that concludes this part of the, this palace. Where I just have to follow NPCs around, and we head to the largest part of the map called Velen. Right now with another fast travel, there we go, Velen, No Man's Land, and Velen includes basically the biggest part of the entire story. There's Velen, there's Novigrad. Velen and Novigrad are basically connected to each other, they're on the same map. Novigrad is a city, Velen's kind of like a swamp land, and then there's Skellige, which is just a series of islands. So we arrive in Velen. First thing that happens is that tutorials turn on for some reason. This only happens in my game. I did not actually mean to dismount. That's a mistake I made. Whoops. In the old version of this run, you actually dismount at that point. I mixed those up for some reason. And yeah, I actually skipped this quest marker. In this run, much more than in Blood and Wine, you just skip a bunch of like quest objectives, not whole quests, but you just skip like objectives, and just because you already know what you have to do afterwards, you just go do that. Try to do that in as many places as possible. For now, I'm just gonna use Roach here to try and get to the place without ever stopping the gallop. Roach, by the way, is the name of the horse, in case I didn't mention that before. And you can see that stamina bar at the bottom, and you see how it's regenerating now, despite me still being in the gallop. The way this works is that Roach has sort of an autopilot. If I'm going on a path, like the one you can see on the minimap right now, like this one, I can let go of my directional keys, and Roach latches onto this path while regenerating his stamina, but he's still galloping. So basically, you lose control of where your horse is going. Your horse has to follow the path, but if the path is going the direction that you have to go in anyway, you can use the path, like I'm using this one right now, to regenerate your stamina, and just never stop galloping. Otherwise, you'd have to let your stamina drain, then stop galloping and let it regenerate again. This is just a more effective way of traveling with your horse. So as you can see, I skipped that. You can always see the quest objective on the top right. I actually don't have my bomb equipped. I will do that right now. I will need it for this part, so it's the first time I'm using it. And I also, hold on. I basically throw the bomb at these dogs here, and they'll die instantly. Otherwise, I'd have to kill them with my sword, which is a bit slower. Talk to this guy. Again, I'm just investigating some things here.
Great.
Have to follow certain objectives. I talk to that guy. Or, well, I examine him. He's not really in a talking mood, I guess. Kind of just lying dead on the floor, unfortunately, for him. I keep examining, and as you can see, when I go into dialogue, there's like choices that I have to make, and they're all numbered, and those numbers are corresponding to numbers I press on my keyboard. So basically, I just remember which numbers to press, and I always press them for whichever are necessary. And there's some dialogue choices that are very important, and some that are not so much, but usually the important ones tend to completely mess up the run if you pick the wrong one, so I'll try not to do that this run. Most of the time you just spam one though, and that gets you through it. So yeah, so far it's just basically been running around, killing one griffin, throwing a bomb at a couple of dogs, and That's most of it. I'm gonna go visit the Bloody Bear now. He's a really cool part of the storyline in a casual playthrough. People really love the storyline. It's really long actually if you do it correctly, but I kind of skip part of it, so that's why it's not that long actually. There's several ways to enter his castle. You're not technically like a permitted guest, so you have to sneak your way in or pay money or something, and sneaking through this cave is the fastest way we found. There is technically a monster in here right there, but you can just jump over that wall and skip the fight with it. And then I head up here into this well and climb up a ladder.
I must be close.
Where I go talk to the Baron. So, this part now is unique in the fact that I'm not playing with Geralt anymore, I'm playing with Ciri. She's a different character, she has a couple of different abilities, most notably this dash here. What she has instead of Geralt, Geralt has a roll and a dodge, she has basically all these jumps, which, because she has like teleportation abilities. And as you can see, I try to use that jump to move more quickly than she can run. For now, I just have to basically kill 3 groups of wolves, protect that little girl. This is all kind of a flashback, I guess. This is Geralt trying to find out about what happened to this person. So this is what the Baron is telling him right now, and I'm getting to relive it. I meant to actually kill that wolf. Not going too well. Go here, teleport to that next cutscene trigger. And keep going. So again, instead of sprinting, I use her little dash here. You see me attacking before I do that. I'll explain that when I explain how I do the same thing with Geralt. It's kind of like a combat thing. You have to go into combat stance in order to be able to jump. So basically that's why I'm attacking before I can do that. Now I try to kill these wolves as fast as possible. Did go too well this time, but it can always kind of mess up, so I generally try to chain my blinks, but it's pretty difficult. You have to really spam your blink key very quickly. And then I have to fight this werewolf, also known as the King of Wolves, who has no more physics after he died. The body just flies around very interestingly. Yeah, now I'm back to playing as Geralt. And there's a little bit of NPC following thing here again, so I will use that actually to explain what I do with that attack and then blink. Geralt and both Ciri. This applies for both Geralt and Ciri, which is the girl I just played.
Haven't got a clue.
They have 2 stances. One is in combat and one is out of combat. Outside of combat, which I am right now, Geralt can jump, and he can do this thing which is Witcher Senses, which is like he can inspect things around him and look at quest objectives. It doesn't really have much of a purpose in the speedrun, except for sometimes when I have to use it, like right now. I have to inspect this wall, and it only works if I use my Witcher Senses. Once I am in combat with anything, those abilities change. I don't get the ability to jump anymore. I can't jump in combat. And instead, what I can do is I can roll. Now, when I'm in normal combat with
Somebody smashed a bottle.
like normal enemies, then it's really easy to chain those rolls behind each other, and they're actually quite, you move quite quickly.
Damn, trail breaks off. Spruce wood.
But if you're not in combat, then you can still try and like cheese the game in order to think that you're in combat, but in order to do that, you have to really spam your roll key, and I'm gonna show that off in a second here. This is actually the next split, save a bit of time after I complete kind of the first part with this Baron. So basically, right now I'm not in combat. As soon as I attack, I am. And you can see I can start rolling there. But even though I wanted to keep rolling, I didn't manage. because you really have to, as soon as you spend just a little time not rolling, the game automatically like puts you out of combat, which prevents you to keep rolling. That might have been a bit badly explained, but basically I need to spam the roll key if I want to use it. And there's one very important instance that occurs all over the place in this run. One important scenario, which is after you exit a signpost. If you fast travel afterwards, the game usually saves. And when the game saves, you can't sprint with Geralt. Basically, you're forced into a walk for a couple of seconds. So what you do is you use this kind of a roll glitch. It's not really a glitch, but you attack and you roll twice in order to start moving, despite not being able to sprint, after which you start sprinting. So you'll see me do that quite a couple of times, just attack and then roll twice and then start sprinting again. That's what I try to summarize here. So you have to talk to this guy, but someone's threatening him, so I try to just kill all of them with a bomb, but fortunately, one of them remained alive. That can happen. So I'll just kill them with a sword and then run to this house. Talk to the person. Because I need his help for, once again, finding someone. That's kind of a reoccurring theme in this game. You find a lot of people. Most importantly, though, you try to find Ciri, who's kind of your daughter. Or Geralt's daughter, what I'm trying to say. And now we come to the most exciting part of this run, by far. I need to find the goat and escort her home to its owner.
Let's go see the
A lot of fun. I have this bell, which I kind of just have to spam in order for the goat to follow me. It's kind of annoying because the goat randomly just decides to stop sometimes. But so far it's been going pretty well, just following me. We find this bear, which I have to protect the goat from. Fire obviously is very good against bears because they have a lot of fur and fur catches on fire. So I hide behind that rock. That's not actually what I'm meant to do, but I kill him and then I go right back to the goat. Try to escort her back to her house. And at this part there's like a lot of bushes and logs in the way. I generally try to avoid because she can get stuck and then just stand there for a long time. Like right now. There we go. Found that the closer you are to her, the more likely she's actually to follow you. So here's that hut. Before I enter the cutscene, I'm going to actually call my horse, because I'll need it in a second. It's better to call it now. And then, there we go, I talk to him and the quest ends. It's kind of a meme at this point. The princess, the goat quest. Goat is called Princess. So now my roach is, my horse, not my roach. Well, I guess I could call her my roach, but my horse is waiting for me because I called her earlier. And I run over here to this little town and explore or uncover the signpost which is here and use it to teleport back to the Baron's castle. Instead of doing that thing I was talking about with attacking and actually I'll do it right now just to get close to my horse. As you can see, that's what I meant. Usually chaining 2 in a row is not that bad. More than that though, it starts getting kind of difficult. So I enter this castle again, this time through the front entrance. And this gate is really glitchy. It makes the horse stop if I run through it normally. Like, it really terrifies the horse for some reason, so you jump with the horse instead and just kind of barge through it. I need to dismount my horse as soon as the cutscene starts, otherwise there's like a 5-second cutscene of Geralt just getting off his horse. So generally, you never want to enter a cutscene while being on your horse. To fight this guy really quickly, all I need to do is 1 strong and 1 fast attack. That's enough to deal with him. So now comes the second, I guess, big boss fight with a botchling. And there's a bit of a skip to this fight, which I haven't yet properly learned. I'll try to pull it off, but it's difficult. First thing I need is my bomb, and then I will need to equip my Ard sign. You can see in the top left. Which is kind of a telekinetic just shockwave. So try to throw this bomb here. I go to the right and I try to knock him into the wall, and it did actually work. Wow, I'm actually surprised that it worked. You can instantly kill him if you kind of knock him into the fence. Unfortunately, there are a couple of rays that spawn here. I'm going to actually try and kill them, because there's a chance that the botchling drops a very special item, which it didn't. Okay, so that was not worth it at all. But that's fine. This is part of the RNG of this run, the drops of the monsters. There was a chance that botchling would have dropped a so-called red mutagen, which if I equip that, it increases my damage. But it didn't, so I won't get that for now. But that's fine. That's, of course, planned for, that he doesn't drop that. So yeah, botchling skip is actually the first time I've managed it, surprisingly. And it probably will have saved a bit of time. I teleport back to where I need to go. Again, I tend to call my horse right as I exit a fast travel, just so I can instantly get on there as fast as possible. And I head back to that old man's hut to complete this kind of quest line. With another fight. This time it's not going to be a boss fight. In fact, it's not really a fight at all. We'll see that in a second.
Follow the pillar. The pillar will show the way. We got a long way to go. It's not
So yeah, as long as it's another kind of an NPC follow scene, but at least this guy like sprints, so it doesn't take ages. I guess I can try to go into detail a bit more about the combat. As you can see, Geralt has two swords. The left one is a steel sword, the right one is a silver sword. Silver is for monsters, steel is for non-monsters, I guess. The steel is for everything that's like native to the world, so humans and, well, like wolves, bears, all those animals, you use your steel sword against them. All monsters you use your silver sword against. There's, right now, see, there's these wolves, I use my steel sword. If I use my silver sword, that would do, like, barely any damage. Oh my goodness, I just killed 4 wolves with 1 fire. That is really lucky. The fire instantly kills them, but it's difficult to hit all of them with 1 because they run around like maniacs all the time. Wolves are really fast. They run completely unpredictably just around, and yeah, hitting all of them with 1 fire blast like that is pretty good luck. Not even RNG, it's just lucky. So we get to this ritual place, I guess, where I need to light these 3. I don't even know what they are. Pyres, I guess, on fire. And a bunch of wraiths are gonna spawn. But I don't actually have to kill them. The point of this is not to kill the wraiths, the point is to keep those fires alight. So I'm going to use my next sign here, my next magical ability called Quen, which is kind of a protective shield. The reason I'm using it is because it can prevent staggers, meaning that if they hit me, if the wraiths hit me, then I won't be stunned, which is kind of more important than the damage prevention. So for now I basically just try and not get hit too much by these wraiths, kill a couple of them so that they don't bother me. And I wait for him to finish his dialogue, and now either one of these 3 pyres can go out and I have to reignite it. It's completely random. I just have to be like lucky, I guess, with which of the 3 it ends up being. This happens twice. So I have to wait for him to just finish his thing. And I'm gonna bet that it's this one. Probably wrong though. It could be either of the 3. It is this one. I got lucky. And that finishes this part. So it's not really even a fight. You just gotta make sure not to be killed by the wraiths while you're keeping the fires alight. So yeah, I pick up my horse and I head to the last part of this segment of this split. It's just a fisherman's hut, where I again ask about directions to people because Geralt never stops looking for people. It's kind of his thing. And see, once again, I'm using the path here to regain my stamina. because it's kind of perfectly on the way to where I need to go. And now at this point I know that I'm close enough that 1 bar of stamina will easily get me there without having to worry about regenerating it or anything. So yeah, I was talking about combat earlier, then that fight started. So there's 2 attacks, there's a fast and a strong attack. I mean, basically you use them interchangeably. They both have different purposes. Fast is of course faster, and does less damage though. The first points that I ever assigned in the first split before the Griffin fight, they were into strong attacks, because in the beginning strong attacks are a bit better, just to get that higher damage. But in the end, you're gonna need both in throughout the entire run. Some big enemies only really take damage from strong attacks, but often fast attacks are simply higher DPS if you put enough points into them. Alright, so I finished that part of the quest. I finished kind of the section with the Baron, even though there is still a quest. As you can see in the top right, it always shows me my current quest. It wants me to keep doing some things for him, but I'm not going to do those because I don't actually need to. You can just skip those. Kind of make the game think that you did those, but you didn't actually. Instead, I'm going to go find someone else, like a sorceress, and I'm just going to help her with a couple of things. Or rather, she's going to help me. And yeah, we're going to go into some old ruins, and there's going to be 2 boss fights in those. And there's that hut in the minimap. You can see the hut of the sorceress. Again, I tried to get off my horse before the cutscene triggered, just so I wouldn't get that 5-second cutscene of Geralt's dismounting. I examine that, go into the portal, and now the game forces me into I can't sprint, so what I do again is I go into combat and I try to roll forwards, because it's faster than walking. Talk to her. There's a lot of dialogue here. And in these places, I really have learned to appreciate this macro, because I would have had to button mash through every single line of that instead of just holding down a key. Yes. Here again, I kind of skip a part of the story by just going to the right here. I'm not really supposed to be here yet, but it works out fine. Saves a bunch of time. It's the second place where I use my bomb. I throw it at that second nest, otherwise I'd have to wait for my stamina to regenerate.
Thank you.
You that afraid of...
And I keep going. Now when you go into this hall, the 2 wraiths spawn. There's a way to get past them without ever entering combat, but it's a bit difficult to pull off. I basically make the wraith jump over there. If I'm lucky, once I get up here, I will be able to... Yes, I will. See, because if I was in combat with that wraith, I would not be able to jump up here, because being in combat prevents you from jumping. But if you do it just right, you can kind of make her teleport behind you so far that you go out of combat in time to just go up there.
It's rather similar to that other pillar with the projection.
Without any issues. Just a bit of a waiting here while we look at Geralt's beautiful face. Have to wait for that cutscene to trigger. And I jump into this well. I need to basically find the sign that's painted on the wall. And it's in the secret passage.
Kelpie, another horse. Almost exactly like the last one. Let's see what this does.
Look, they're opening.
I go back into this room. Yeah, it is possible to kind of go through that door before it
I think that's a
opens
swamp.
fully. And before I go, this is the kind of the first boss fight. For now, I'm just going to put more points into my strong attacks, just because against this golem, strong attacks are very useful. And this purple thing you see on the floor, that's one of my other signs. They're really useful against golems because they slow everything down in their circle. Like every enemy that's inside the circle gets slowed down, and so this golem is already really slow by nature. So this thing just slows them down even more. After the fight, I split. I pick up this bag of this chest. It's not really a bag.
And that would be
And I pick up his remains, the golem's remains, and I keep going. So yeah, that's Erden. It's kind of like a trap that slows down everyone inside the trap.
Don't underestimate it.
It allows me to hit the golem a lot because he's just so incredibly slow. I leave through here. I pick up this chest to the left because it has some alcohol. I need alcohol for meditation. Whenever I meditate, which Geralt's doing right now, I regenerate my HP and I regain my alchemy items, which are the potions. So basically, yeah, it allows me to reset my inventory in a way. But in order to actually regain those alchemy items, I need to have strong alchemy in my inventory, which is one of the things I just picked up. There's, you know, alcohol spread throughout the entire map. It's in different chests, different whatever, and you just have to have enough in order to be able to meditate and regain your potions. Now, normally, I would have to wait for this thing to open and kill the hounds that spawn from it, but instead, I kind of, I guess, tricked the game. I still haven't figured out if this is intentional or not. But I go to the portal and I close it myself, despite her being supposed to close it. Basically, I'm just supposed to protect her from the enemies that emerge, but the game has a mechanic where you can close portals with this trap sign, this one right here. So I kind of use that to close the portal prematurely, and I don't have to fight anyone, and it just goes a lot faster. The only downside is that as soon as I leave this bubble, I take damage. So that's why I use my shield sign, which protects me for a tiny bit. As you can see, I do lose quite a bit of HP. So I just gotta drink a bit of water to regenerate that. Because there's a boss fight after this, and I don't want to meditate for that boss fight to regenerate my HP, because it's a waste of time, so I'll just eat a bit of food and regenerate my HP that way. So yeah, Quen, my protective shield again, is gonna protect me for a couple of seconds once I enter the blizzard outside. Only for a bit though. Oh, I'm actually in it right now, that's bad. And I might be too late. Nah, barely still made it. So yeah, I've got about like 1/3 HP. Now that the portals are closed, I can leave the bubble and I can pick up this water here.
Kira. They blocked the passage. Maybe I can try.
Leave it to me.
That's that segment. That used to take a lot longer when we didn't know that you could just close the portals yourself. You'd have to like kill 3 waves of enemies from each portal, so it would take like over a minute more. Wait for her to open this wall. Fortunately, there's no way I can open it myself, and now comes the, I guess, the actual boss fight of this segment. I fight a warrior of the Wild Hunt. First of all, I use my Thunderbolt again just to do more damage, and he has like 3 stages, I guess. After each, he just goes into this defensive ball, and I just gotta destroy the enemies that emerge from the portals. I throw a bomb at those to kill them instantly, and I can go and try and kill him, without him killing me, of course. In order to prevent that, I'm gonna use my shield. He does do a bit of damage. Not a lot, but a bit. And we're gonna have some more hounds here. I can one-shot all of these though if I have my Thunderbolt going and I use strong attacks. So just wait inside the portal. And I attack them whenever they come out. And then this guy is ready to die, I guess. There we go. I loot his stuff because he has a couple of expensive items on him that I can sell later on for money. Before the cutscene triggers, I picked that up. A bit of dialogue here. And that's the split.
Strange. My medallion's trembling, but there's nothing here. What's with this wall?
I inspect the wall. My friend gives me this item which allows me to go through illusions, which this wall is an illusion.
Simple, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Let's see where the passage leads.
Yeah, I keep going. I tell her I'm not gonna, technically there's like a side quest here. I just press 2 here instead of 1, so I don't have to do the side quest, save some time.
There's something here.
And I interact with another illusion. Now I need to actually, in order to progress the quest, I need to go into my inventory, read this book. Well, read. I'll just
How to use it.
take a little peek at it. I exit here, call my horse. Usually what we do is we take this boat and we go to that island over there because there's a signpost, but instead I found a different signpost which is a bit closer, and you can use your horse to get there. And your horse is a lot faster than the boat, so that's what I'm going to do. Just make sure not to get stunned by these wraiths or anything, and I should be fine. So this is, I believe, like the second or third time I'm doing this. I have the route in mind, sort of. It should be right by that tree up on the hill. At least close to it. Yeah, it is right there. My horse stamina wasn't quite enough. That's okay. So I run here, pick up the signpost. And I go to Linden Vale, which is the closest signpost to the next part of the quest, which is the Crone quest, I guess. It's where you find a bunch of witches in the forest, and they're very evil. But you have to help them because they know something about the person you're looking for. So you can see the quest marker on the mini-map telling me to kind of go straight. I'm not going to go straight, I'm going to go to the left because there's a bit of a route that I'm using here to save time later on. I could go straight there, but that wouldn't be the fastest way. And I want to uncover a signpost, actually, which is going to help me later on. Go up here. In fact, I think I kind of messed up a bit because I don't have enough stamina now. I should have taken this path a lot earlier. So I'm just going to let it regenerate for a tiny bit because I'll need to do that anyway. That should be enough. Keep going up this hill now, completely going a different direction than the quest objective. Hopefully navigating through these rocks as best as possible. I jumped there so that the horse doesn't like stop. Sometimes it stops on ledges. And there's a village here, and I'm going to look for that path, which is right ahead of me. I can use that path to start regenerating some stamina again. And there's the signpost I was talking about. I need to uncover that, because I can teleport to it later on and save some time that way. Now I enter these swamps here in order to find the witches. And I do a couple of things for them. Now this swamp is a mess for the horse. There's so many little hitboxes where the horse can get stuck on. There we go. This is where I forgot to get off my horse, and you see Geralt is just dismounting off the horse. This cutscene is not necessary. That's what happens when you forget. So I generally try to get off the horse just before the cutscene triggers. Talk to the little child. His like protective mother or grandmother doesn't want me to help him to help me though, so I kind of lure her out by giving the other children candy because that's cool, I guess.
Faster.
Once again, Geralt is looking for a little friendly being called a godling, which is going to help him. And what I do is I basically slap the water hag from my horse, which does a lot of damage, but also throws her onto the ground, allows me to one-shot her. That skips a bit of the fight, because that hag has a bit of HP, which otherwise I'd have to just, you know, fight her with. Instead, I just kind of instantly take her off the page. Then with my Witcher senses, I inspect the prince of the godling Johnny. You'll see him in a second. I should follow these prints with my Witcher senses, but I know where they lead to. It's right ahead.
Tracks lead to a burrow. Wonder what's inside.
Then I call for the being, and that's him. Kinda cute. Lost his voice though. The voice was like literally just taken away from him by the witches. So I'm gonna go and try and take it back for him. In order to do that, I need to climb up a mountain. And that's kind of as scary as it sounds. You'll see in a second. You saw how I did like no damage to that drowner there? With one hit? That's because I had my wrong sword out. There's some bandits here for some reason. I don't really know what they're doing here. Sometimes they just come by, but I don't need to fight them. Just run away. Go to the next cutscene trigger. right here. Yeah, this mountain is really glitchy to get up onto. I'll try nonetheless. Yeah, this can take several attempts. Geralt sometimes decides that he just can't jump. Kind of want to try to roll up the mountain, I guess. If this doesn't work, I can always try something else, which is either we go. See, that's kind of what I want to happen, but I messed up because I fell down again. I don't believe I'll make it up here. Give it one more go. If not, I'll just take the long route. That works as well. Getting up there, I don't really know how to do it consistently. I've tried it many times. It works like half the time. If not, I could just kind of climb up here. And then climb into this nest. Now, this nest usually has a bunch of things protecting it. And there are here, but if I go fast enough, I can go and pick up the loot before I enter combat. If you're in combat, you also can't pick up any loot. So, it's kind of lucky there. If you have really bad RNG, there can also be like a huge monster there that protects it and automatically puts you into combat. So you have to kill the monster and like its 3 guardians before you can pick up the loot. But that didn't happen this time, luckily. That can happen though, and has happened several times. You just lose like a good minute or something. And it's really just based on whether or not the game wants you to fight a wyvern at that point. Yeah, this water hag is the same that I hit off my horse earlier. She has a lot of HP, so it's better to just instantly kill her. It's kind of ineffective if I have my horse here, though, so that's why I don't do that. And this Drowner is just deciding to give me a really bad day, and dodging every one of my swings is like nothing I can do against that. I just have to wait for him to attack me then. And I run back to the village. Story probably doesn't make any sense anymore at this point. I lost a lot of time here, most likely due to that attempted ascent onto the mountain, which I failed. That's something that, I don't know. I don't know if it's even possible to practice, because you just have to get lucky and have Geralt jump. Sometimes he just doesn't want to jump. So now I teleport to that signpost, which I uncovered earlier. And you saw me doing that again, that double roll, because I had fast traveled.
Greetings.
And I couldn't have sprinted there in the beginning. I talked to this guy. Because he tells me that I need to, like, help him with something. And now comes a bit of a scary fight. I fight a werewolf, because he has an assured red mutagen drop, if you remember that. The botchling could have dropped a red mutagen. This one will always drop a red mutagen. But it's a difficult fight if you don't do it quickly. If I mess it up in some way, then he starts regenerating, and his regeneration is way faster than I can damage him. So I'll try not to let that happen. I kind of try to get up the side here by jumping with my horse. Pull out my sword, do the same thing I did to the water hag, hopefully. I hopefully can hit him, and I can't. That's really bad. That's unfortunate if the hitboxes just decide to not really work with me. So he's actually kind of close to killing me. I'm gonna need to be cautious about this. I'm gonna use my protective sign here. Normally he should be at half HP, but I should be able to kill him here, even though he just started regenerating. Yeah, barely still made that. That was a terrible fight. Yeah, that could have gone sideways. I could have died really easily, because it does a lot of damage. And technically I'm supposed to hit him while on my horse, which does like half his HP in damage. But from time to time that decides just that it doesn't want to happen. Like you just swing right through him and he doesn't hit him. Seems pretty random to me, and in that case you just have to deal with him with his full HP. Try to kill him before he starts regenerating. Now enter this little... It's kind of a boss fight, but it's kind of a joke as well, compared to especially the werewolf fight which just happened. I have to like kill this heart, I guess, the tree's heart. But I can like 4-shot it, because it has that little HP. I am playing on the easiest difficulty after all. There we go. And I kill all those monsters there around it, not because I have to, but because if I don't, there's a good chance I'll remain in combat. And one of the other things you can't do in combat is talk to people, so I'd have to stand around here, wait for the game to finally, like, stop bugging out and put me out of combat. Well, most likely I've lost more time here because of that werewolf fight. There's another Siri cutscene where I do nothing but just spam my dash key until I reach this quest marker, and that's basically all there is to it. You don't have to fight anyone here. Go back to Geralt's world. Those are the witches, by the way. And that's split. This is the first segment of the game. This is Velen. Now I go to Novigrad, the second segment of the game. So yeah, getting a 50 minutes sub 51 is really not bad on this part. I'm sure it can definitely be optimized though, especially seeing how much time I lost there due to some of the, I guess, less fortunate occurrences. The werewolf and trying to get up that mountain. Yes, for now, basically everything I did was on the south side of the map in Velen, in the swamps. Now I go to the north side of the map where there's a city, a really big city. For now I'm just terrifying everyone because I'm in combat, apparently. Just a little bit of an outpost here that I try to get around. I'm not allowed to go through here. I just do it anyway because, you know, who cares? Eventually I'm gonna be... Yeah, I'm gonna be told by someone that they're gonna attack me, but they never do. I guess I'm just that fast.
Ah, damn the bugger. The patrols will track him down.
So now I'm on the other side. They really don't care that someone just completely ran past through the fences. I pick up my horse and I head north to Novigrad, to the city. Personally, one of my favorite parts of the run, just because I really like the city. It's a cool part, and you meet a couple of cool people and do cool things with them, I guess. For now, just heading north a bit to the west because there's a signpost I want to uncover on my way into the city. But that signpost only comes into use like in 2 hours, actually. Close to the end of the run. This is some long-term investment right here. I uncover the signpost just so I'm closer to a quest when I do it at the very end of the run. I'll talk about it once I get there, but like I said, it's in like 1.5 hours, so probably even more. It's this one right here. Turn around the corner, and I go to where I actually want to go to, which is this signpost. It's not even the signpost that I need. This signpost is actually useless. You don't ever use it. But this stuff here in the water is really important. It's some armor and some other things that I can sell later on. The armor I'll equip in a second, because right now the armor I'm wearing is like a concert dress for Nilfgaard, so it has 0 protection. The reason I'm wearing it is because it's light armor, and I bought this ability, I guess, that gives me more damage when I'm wearing light armor, so yeah, that's why I'm wearing it for now. But the armor I just got is also light, and it actually protects me, so yeah, I'm gonna get the best of both worlds. Get protective armor that also gives me more damage. So yeah, welcome to Novigrad. This is the city. The reason why I'm not running on my horse here is because you're not allowed to gallop inside cities. This goes for Toussaint as well in Blood and Wine. But here in Novigrad I need to... running is a bit faster than like the slower version of Roach's runs, so that's why I just don't even bother with my horse in this segment. It's like a huge witch hunt going on here, which is not very pleasant, but Geralt tries not to get involved with it too much. He's only looking for an old friend called Triss Marigold. Find some thugs at her apartments, but turns out she's like being hunted by the witch hunters. So that's not good. We find her, we're going to find her at a place called Putrid Grove, I believe. It's kind of like a beggar's hideout. So I talk to this beggar, I give him a compliment, and he tells me how to get to Putrid Grove, and he tells me what the password is to get in. And I just kind of just down this ridge. And there I will find Triss. And the first thing I'm gonna do is help her. Disband of rats in a warehouse for some money, because she is in need of funds. She's trying to save all the mages and sorcerers that are being hunted in the city. Yeah, this is that little hideout. Just beyond this door. There we go.
What's your arrangement? He using you?
Helping me to survive, actually.
We leave the grove, and I'm supposed to follow her here, but it's one of the places where I can just go to where she will go, and it'll trigger the quest anyway. Which is right this house. Not that far. I head down here, fight this Drowner, who hits me, wow, out of the blue. I actually meant to use my Ignite here, but that's fine. This guy predicted me coming. Alright. Just dodge out of his attack, and or not. Finish him off. And then I inspect this little door opening.
The very reason
Switch there.
here after the massacre at Loch Muin.
Yeah, I exit into the river because I need to like pick something up that was
So
dropped
they
into the
jumped out
river.
of the frying pan into the fire.
And amongst the thing that I'm supposed to pick up for the quest, I also go into this river and collect another chest, which has alcohol in it. Just write this one here. Two units of alcohol, I guess. Which are going to allow me to meditate twice more to regenerate my potions and my HP. But I'm not going to do that for now. I'll go back to her, tell her that I found her parcel, the thing she was looking for. Instead of using that ladder, I kind of try to go up here if the game would let me. There we go.
Come on. 6 months isn't that long.
It's rather easy to latch on to good hitboxes, and that's a pretty solid hitbox there. So you can, if you're just in the right place, you can climb up without bothering with ladders. Ladders are super slow in this game.
I'll
Yeah.
cover half the space. You take the other half.
I enter the warehouse.
Evidence of rat activity.
I have to like place 3 things here,
Thing is,
just to prevent the rats from entering.
core activity looks like, but rodents.
And then it turns out we were betrayed by the, I guess, the contract giver.
I think I plugged every hole in there.
He sends a couple of witch hunters after us, and I use once again my bomb to eliminate all 3 of them instantly. Right now.
Bastard hired me on the assumption he wouldn't have to pay me.
I cabal their 3 swords because, oops, that's not what I meant to do.
We need to find Brand.
Because that sword's gonna give me some extra damage. I'll see which one has the most, I'm not sure. It's kind of RNG, it can be between like 19 and 40 extra damage. But for now I'm gonna equip the armor that I got. Hold on. Yeah, okay, I already equipped all of it. And then 21, 18, and 21. Basically that's pretty bad. It's better than nothing though. Again, I've had instances where I got 40 extra damage from that. Now I only got 21. But that's just part of the RNG. I go to this house, which is allegedly haunted. It's not really. There's just like a little, another godling who's kind of wants to protect her turf, I guess.
All right. Time to check the attic.
But we want to use the services of a dreamer, and the dreamer's kind of being held captive here, so we have to help her.
The next room is blocked.
Oops, that's bad. Okay. There we go. In order to get through that like debris, I have to use my telekinetic ability, but
Strange stuff.
I had the wrong one selected accidentally, and I couldn't. While you're climbing the ladder, you can't change signs, so yeah, I instead of using a blast to get rid of the debris, I put it on fire, which was very ineffective. I find the little creature, the godling, that's doing all this, that's haunting this house. She's actually harmless, she just wants to live alone here. And I make a deal with her. And I talk to this person who helps me. So I leave the house. And this guy asks me if it's still haunted because he's like an investor, I guess. He bought this house. And he's sad that it's haunted because he can't sell a haunted house, right? So I have to disappoint him and tell him that it's still haunted because that was part of the deal with the godling. Just a little lore while I'm running along here. See now Geralt is wearing this beautiful tunic. It's kind of looks ridiculous, but it does its job very well. Head to this. This is a tavern I'm gonna be like at 3 times, I think. Plays a couple of important roles. This woman helps me again. Looking for the person, the one I'm looking for this time. Well, Siri, who I've always been looking for, but yeah, the search continues. And she tells me that there's a couple of friends, old friends, that can help me, and they are at this other tavern. And that's where I'm going now. I actually forgot to split here, I'm not behind. You split after you finish talking to her. So yeah, especially because you don't have your horse here, fast traveling is quite useful in the city. It's pretty big. Getting from one side to the other takes a long time. So we go to this tavern, and of course there's just a bunch of people who are not supposed to be there, and I help my old friend Zoltan, who's like a dwarf, beat them up so they leave. There we go. What I do now is I pick up this book, read it, or not. I don't think I read it in time. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I actually don't think I did, so I'll have to do that now. Read it, there we go. Normally I'm supposed to read it before, but I pressed the wrong button and I opened the bestiary instead. So once again, I'm actually surprised. I've never thought of it this way, but damn, Geralt looks for a lot of people in this game. We're looking for someone else, and I have to go to a couple of locations in order to figure out fully where this person is hiding. They're not really hiding, we just don't know what they do, like, as a living, and so we have no idea where to find them. But yeah, my friend the dwarf, Sultan, he's gonna help us for now. I mean, he doesn't really stop, we just leave him after a while, go do some other stuff elsewhere while he stays here and holds the home front, I guess. First place we go is to this residence here, and we tell the guard that we're the new swordplay instructor, even though we're obviously not. We just want to talk to the person who's living here. And of course, being a swordplay instructor is right down Geralt's alley, so that's not a problem at all. Try to kind of tumble down these stairs because it's really slow to walk down them. So yeah, I do some sword training with this person. First time I have to get her to half HP, and then it ends. Tells me, damn, you're very good at sword fighting. I'm like, yeah, I know. Tries to surprise attack me there, but fails to, because I dodged her. I blocked her, actually. I just have to basically block her attacks and hit her twice. That's how I have to get through this. There we go. Parrying in this game works like, I guess most other melee combat games. If I hit the parry button just before I get attacked, Geralt does like a counter attack. That works for most enemies, not all of them. Let's go to that guard right ahead. He's standing inside the stairs. It's a funny bug that happens sometimes. And I go with him to like the other end of the map, basically. Not with a guard, with someone else. Because I want to talk to another person who's here. They can give me some directions, I guess. First, there's a long loading screen because a whole new section of the map has to load. Here's one of those important dialogue choices. If I would have pressed 1 there, I would have gone into a horse race. And horse races are really not what you want to be doing in a speedrun. They serve like no purpose. Call my horse. And now that's all I had to do in this section here. I only had to talk to that person. So I head right back as fast as I can, but I'm pretty far away, so I'm gonna use a signpost, the nearest one to me, in fact. It's right here. There we go. And I'll use the signpost 2 more times afterwards, so it's quite useful getting that one. And I go back to the city. Talking to the last person I need to before I can actually find the subject of interest. She's being kind of like harassed by some thugs though, so I just pay them off, tell them whatever. I'll just pay her debts, because Geralt has a lot of money. And there we go. That's all I had to do for now. I talked to my friend Zoltan again, and we go meet up at the tavern where the subject of interest is waiting. Or, she doesn't know we're coming, she just works there. Teleport back to the middle of the city. There's a lot of back and forth, especially in this segment. Unfortunately, I can only meet them at night though, and in the top right you can see what time it is. It's 12 PM, that's too early. So I meditate until it's night, and then the cutscene can trigger. A little bit of a song there, of course it would sound a lot better if I actually let the cutscene play, but letting cutscenes play is not what we do in the speedrun, you know.
Looking to enlist with the temple guard.
Found her, we found the person we were looking for, and now we go to this bathhouse, but before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and put some points into more abilities. There we go. Actually, I forgot as well to equip the red mutagen. There we go. Now I get some attack bonuses, which are very useful for quite some time, until I get my next red mutagen, which will, again, increase the damage by a significant amount.
You made this robe here. Siggy Reuven awaits in the next room.
Hi, Whitehair. Nice bum you have. You were right.
Go through this bathhouse, and we meet a bunch of, like, underground criminals, I guess, because they can also help us. Basically, the whole premise of Novigrad is that our friend Dandelion has... Whoops, why did he roll backwards? That's interesting. He has been put into prison because he stole someone's treasure, and yeah. We need to kind of spring him out. For now, I gotta beat up these guys, though, with my allies. Problem is that my allies tend to really get in my way more than help. This fight would be a lot easier if it was just me against all of them. But yeah. I try to pick up a couple of, you know, the items that the enemies drop, because they can sell for some gold later on, which I will need. For now, there's a lot of dialogue. And this is where we kind of figure out that our friend was involved in a heist, and we try to cover it up while saving him. It's, I guess, a complicated situation that Geralt tries to fix. Meanwhile, this is the place of the heist. Basically, the treasure room was broken in from the sewers, so I go into the sewers while Geralt's layering all his dialogue. If you inspect multiple things at once, he just like keeps layering dialogue over dialogue. It's not very pleasant. I just like ignore all the drowners over there behind me. I only need to kill the 2 in this room. The other 2 don't like ever enter here for some reason. And then I go and expect this little piece of evidence.
Silver cylinder, most likely. Runes etched in the bottom. It's warped, probably by the explosion. Bomb part.
I head back again past these drowners. Usually I tried to not have them hit me, but they're kind of ganging up on me, and I should just roll away. Of course, they can also block your path, which is not very opportune. I got through though. Usually this goes a bit smoother. So yes, I inspected the crime scene, I guess, and realized what happened, and now I have to talk to the guy I'm working for now. The girl doesn't really work for anyone, he's just doing favors, things like that, because he needs everyone's help in order to find his daughter.
Got a minute?
Talk to him. I have to look at one more thing inside the bathhouse, and then that'll be it for the bathhouse
Silver leaf.
for now.
Matches
We
the
come back
silver
here later.
bottom I found in the sewer. Dijkstra, come here.
So, now the quest line gets kind of mixed up. Novigrad has several ongoing quests at the same time. I'm gonna go in between them. Instead of following this now, going to what the quest tells me to go to the house of like a suspect. I'm gonna go to casino and like kill people there because they're holding someone who I need information from. And that kind of skips the whole other part of a quest that I would otherwise have to do. I jump around here in order to not go into combat with them, but I still did. That's fine now. So here's this casino. I just attack them instantly. I don't even have to bother talking to them. And this guy's blocking all my attacks. We'll equip my grape shot and throw it right there. I bomb. It's gonna put this guy to half HP. Wait for him to attack me so I can counter and kill him. There we go. Some enemies are really difficult to kill because they like counter all of your attacks, so you have to get creative with them, I guess. Ah, yeah, he stunned me. Guys with the long weapons, they are also a bit tricky sometimes. Here, I use my second grape shot. These guys are significantly more tanky. Use my fire on them too, though. Had to kill them, and then there we go. Now we find this person. He tells us some important information, but only if we talk to him.
Wonder if Dijkstra knows Junior's made a deal with the Redanians.
Can skip a bit of the portion of the stairs here. I mean, that's like very precise optimization. There's not too much of that in this run yet because we're still trying to find skips and glitches and bugs and whatnot, but for now, I try to, of course, go as fast as possible. There's actually one glitch that we are trying out, which allows you to clip through walls with your horse, but that requires you, of course, to have your horse with you, and not all places allow your horse to be spawned. That's a bit complicated, and there's also not that many places in this game where clipping through a wall is going to be helpful, because most of the time quests only trigger once you have completed like all their parts. So skipping parts is only possible in certain locations.
What a dump.
Anyway,
Looks more like a beggar's hovel than a Margrave's town.
now I continue this little quest line here.
Some interesting friends.
I go to that house that I was talking about earlier.
Letter and a bottle. The wine from your birth year. It's absolutely excellent. Startling bouquet. You absolutely
I pick up this kind of
must
secret
try.
entrance here or not, because instead the game targets the fire. Any like fire chalice or something is such a mess in this game because it usually just prevents you from
Dandelion and his cohorts
interacting with what you
around.
actually want to interact with. Fortunately, Geralt kind of like stood on thin air. They're usually supposed to drop down here, and this second cutscene is supposed to trigger instantly. Didn't quite work out though, because he was like stuck on the door, for, like on the stair frame, I guess. And it is currently 1:55. That is not good. This next quest can only be activated until 2 a.m. And I believe that time is about to run out, so I'm gonna have to meditate for an entire day. Oh boy, that is bad. Oh well, it can happen. That's a pretty big time loss. Yeah, I doubt this still works after 2:01. But we shall see. Nope. Have to meditate all day. Once around the clock. It's because I believe I made a mistake earlier on with meditation, so that's why the whole time frame is shifted forwards a bit. Something I have to consider and remember. But I didn't want to like meditate again when that happened. We enter this witch hunter garrison. We kind of pretend to bring in my friend here, but in reality we're just trying to get information. Kind of like a little invasion. There's a lot of dialogue here. I'm afraid I will be behind at this point. For several reasons, but mainly that I had to meditate there. I believe I can catch back up to the PB again now. I open this door, jump down, and after the dialogue, the next split will fall. There we go. I use my teleconnect blast to go through that door, and then I talk to a couple more people. I have to actually talk to him twice. If I don't, then I lose like a minute. So it's very important not to forget that. But yeah. Now is the second time I'm going to use that one signpost that I went to earlier, which is kind of far off. I run to the docks here, use this one. Should be right there, exactly. And the good thing is my horse, because I don't need it so far, is still waiting here for me.
Let's go.
Ever patiently. Don't even have to call it, don't have to worry about it spawning somewhere really far off. Whenever you call your horse, it can spawn anywhere within like the radius of the mini-map, basically. So yeah, that can go pretty wrong sometimes. You can like spawn behind walls, on docks, on ships even. Not the best when that happens. It used to be that roach could spawn on roofs as well, but they patched that, unfortunately. Go to this hideout here. I dismounted a bit early there, but again, one of those things where the cutscene triggers and I really don't want to be sitting on my horse while it does, because that's just a huge time waste. It's like a hideout of special forces, I guess. Guerrilla special forces, and the leader is an old friend, and he's gonna help me talk to the Redanian king, because Geralt talks to kings a lot. But everything he's doing is always just gonna be for trying to find Cirilla. Okay, wow, that's interesting water physics. Okay, that looks terrible. Wow. I'm surprised. I haven't seen it this bad before. Usually the graphics in this game are not that bad. Even on the lowest settings. This is all on the lowest settings. Really not bad, but that water, wow, looked terrible. Anyway. I go in here, talk to this guy who's gives me information on another person that I'm looking for. And this is not actually Novigrad, this is also a city, but it's significantly smaller. It's kind of an academy, but also the hiding, or the... It's not a hiding place, it's... how do you call it? It's just a place where the monarch resides, currently. Temporarily. I would technically have to go around to enter this, like, garden, but I kind of jump onto that, and just jump over the wall here, which allows me to enter from forward, not having to bother with like a really long way around. There we go. I have to kill a couple of people here. The reason why I ran up to the stairs and didn't just stay down is because there's another set of enemies in the back which I don't have to fight if I stay far enough away from them. Okay. There we go, that should be that. And now as soon as I'm out of combat, which I am now, you see there to the left there's a bunch of enemies. I try to stay away from them. if I'm in combat, I can't enter this house, so... Okay, Geralt attacked the person that was standing behind a wall. That makes sense. Yeah. Go. That should have gone a lot smoother, but it didn't. Targeting is difficult to control sometimes. Talk to this guy who's kind of a monster. But he had a run-in with the daughter, so that's why he has some information. And this is another one of those flashbacks, I guess. Which includes a couple of fights, which are... They can go very well or very badly.
Under the balcony.
We shall see which one it is this time.
There's the balcony. Let's see what's inside.
And I'm gonna wait for him to go past me because I need to attack him from behind. He's one of those enemies that you actually need to attack from behind. Otherwise, he's basically impossible to hit. He's just gonna block every one of your abilities. Kind of like this guy. So I try to jump behind them. And I just jump down the stairs so that I stay in combat. Shield guys kind of have the same principle. I can only hit them from behind. There we go, that should be that. And one more for this guy, never mind. Fortunately, aiming with your jumps is very difficult, so if I miss the stairs once, I'm probably not ever gonna hit it. There we go, that's all of them, and now I'd love to exit if the game allowed me to. Again, I do kill him here because he is kind of a very sick human being, and it saves some time later on if I kill him now instead of having to do it later. And no matter where you exit this garden, you always have to go through this little part. I've tried several times to like glitch out of this part, but no matter how you leave it, you're always gonna have to go and do this quest. I'd hoped there was some way to skip it. You have to go here and just talk to this guy. So that's why I leave through the front door. Also, the reason why the split is called Horson is because the person I just killed is called Horson. That's actually his name. Go to the signpost and back to the square in the middle of Novigrad. Where I will attempt to start a play. Because Geralt's secret ambition has always been to become an actor. It's actually a part of this. I go through that play in order to kind of lure someone out of hiding. Quite a bit of dialogue here. One really important dialogue choice, which is this one right here. If I press 1 there's an extra fight scene, which wastes like a minute. So not doing that is generally good. Can always drop down there. Don't have to use the stairs because, you know, stairs are not for witchers. And then I go to the town's theater in order to present the script of the play. I need to buy a ticket first, because the ticket seller won't let me in otherwise. So she allows me to put on a play, and I have to hire ushers first though, just in case. Then I can kind of clip over this wall if it goes well. It's not a clip, not at all. It's just a jump over, but I have to jump onto some boxes. I don't know why I just called that a clip. I only was able to roll once there. I tried to roll twice, but it doesn't work all the time. Which kind of how it is. It's one of those small optimizations which kind of add up to some time throughout the 3-hour run. So I hire him to be my usher. I could also like fight for him and like earn his respect, and therefore he just wants to help me out of the goodwill of his heart, but instead I just pay him because that also works. And I have enough money for that. In which case I go back to Hierarch Square, go back to the theater. might have lost more time here. That's definitely possible. By that I mean, yeah, the split ends in 7 seconds, and there's quite a bit ahead, so there's just a lot of dialogue. I will fall a bit more behind here. I guess I'm just not going quite as decisively through this run as I could. I'll definitely try to pick it back up again. There is a couple of time saves later on that I still can perform. That'll hopefully get me back ahead of my PB. It'll be a total of 27 seconds lost. Okay. The time can add up just by doing sloppy movement, not getting jumps correctly, things like that. But I believe that I can make it back up again. This is the 3rd time and last time I'm using the signpost, which I was talking about. And this is the last part of Novigrad. I need to... This is where we spring our friend from prison, basically. I don't want to play Gwent. I get the chance to play Gwent here. Gwent is part of the 100% run of this game, but this is not 100%.
Shit, lost him. Gotta look for tracks.
Yeah, the game wants you to follow the tracks with your Witcher senses, but once again, Witcher senses are not really of much use to me, because I already know where the tracks lead. I just need to follow a couple of landmarks and I'll get there eventually. Without going through any detours, because if you follow the tracks, it's kind of like a long path that you don't actually have to take.
Just bees.
Use this path to regain my stamina. Once I'm on the other side of this fence, I will simply exit the path and head to where I need to actually go. It used to be completely confusing for me to get this, but after a while you just know where you have to like go left and right of, and
What is it?
you don't need... Usually I just put a quest marker, like a custom marker on my map in order to figure out where exactly this place was, but this works as well and it's a lot faster. So yeah, this drop is so far that if I just went down there without using the ladder, I would die. Geralt takes a lot of fall damage. That drop would have been enough to take all his HP away. This guy's also pretty annoying. The only thing I can do against him is block him and auto-attack him once. Something I could try out though, which is using the stun sign, which again is just going to allow me to hit him once. So the only thing, really the most effective thing I can do is to counter attack him once and then give him a strong attack. Everything else he simply parries without end. This next Ciri part, I could use a horse here, but Ciri's ability is much faster. Simply spamming the jump key. I hug the right there in order to not latch on. Basically, this jump latches onto enemies. Like, right there. I mean, I'm pressing for her to go forward and she goes to the right. That happens if you don't pay attention. I do have to kill all these guys, unfortunately, but luckily, I one-shot them. And then I go through this door here. And that's all there is to that Ciri segment. And now, we have officially finished Novigrad. I need to get enough money to sail to Skellige, which is that island section that I was talking about. In order to get there, I need to like use a boat, and Geralt doesn't own a boat, so he has to pay someone to take him there, and they're like stormy waters, so yeah, Geralt has to get a lot of money here, which is I'm selling all my stuff for. I need about 1 point. That's more than enough. Wow, I got a lot of money out of that. I need 1.7 thousand crowns. I have like 1.9 thousand now. That's way more than enough. Reason being that I need to pay 1,000 to get transported to Skellige. There's no real way around that. I have to talk to this guy who's kind of a crazy sailor who will attempt the voyage there. And then I'll need to buy 2 maps later on, which cost, I think, 250 each, so 1.5k is what I need. Those maps allow me to uncover certain signposts without actually being there. And those that's just really useful in several cases. Use a grave shot here, just to make this a bit easier on me. There is archers here, and that's a finisher. I don't actually want to have finishers in this game. Basically, finishers are when the enemies is really low, that you can have a cool animation of you know, finishing them, but it just wastes time. That's all there. That's like the only problem with it. And so I try to turn them. I turn them off, the automatic versions of them. But if I accidentally like activate it manually, it can still cost me some time.
Hey, that's pretty good.
All right, I made some good time back there. That's not bad. And it's actually a gold split. Which, that was my gold split sound. So yes, I do believe that just by being more consistent and focusing on really just getting everything as close to perfect as possible, I can definitely catch back up those 12 seconds. I go to this merchant who's invisible for a bit of time.
Show me.
And then I buy this and that map. Because, like I said, they allow me to uncover signposts without actually being there. I'm going to read them right now. They're 1 and 2, and then exit my inventory. Roach is actually behind me for some reason.
Ugly bastard.
And then I go to this feast, I guess, this wake. Well, in commemoration of trying to select a new king for the islands of Skellige. Because the old one has died.
Our time amongst the living.
Drop down here, because that's the cutscene trigger. And this is the person I was looking for in the very first split. Remember that? Now I finally get to, like, work with her, I guess. I hop back on a roach because I need to get all the way up there onto that cliff. Well, you'll see it in a second. I don't want to run into any walls here with my horse. There. That bridge is my target. And it's quite the long way. There is a bit of a secret path to get up there. By foot. You can't use your horse for that. But this is simply faster because it's like a highway, you know. You have your galloping horse and you can just run straight up here. If you use that, you can see those stairs on the left, or you can use those on foot, but it's simply slower because you're like half as slow sprinting than galloping. Not sure what the exact, like, if it's half or 1/3 or 2/3. I don't know what it is exactly, but something like that. Galloping is always going to be faster.
Geralt, there's something I've been meaning to ask you. Your beard. Why did you decide to grow it?
Talk to these guys. Another important dialogue choice here, because otherwise I go do another race, not with a horse this time, just on foot. And yeah, races. There's several races throughout the story. None of them are of any use to us. They're just a huge time waste because they take ages. Another important dialogue choice to skip a fight. Just tell everyone to calm down. That always works.
Come, Geralt.
And I try to have her push me here because she runs faster than I do. There we go.
In due course.
Ah, she got ahead of me though.
Correct.
You can sometimes have NPCs push you. and that just makes you go a little bit faster, especially in these segments where you are kind of forced into slower movement speed, where you can't sprint. Some very realistic sounding crows there. I always
Seen uglier sights.
look outside my window to see whether there's crows outside, because they sound so real.
Amazing.
Go in here, use my, well, prepare my Quen sign, I guess. Because Geralt's about to breathe in some weird poisonous toxic gases that makes him hallucinate and think that these animals are real, even though they're all stuffed. And so he kills all of them. And I cast my Quen here, not because these guys do, they actually do 0 damage. Obviously, they're stuffed. But it's like a stagger prevention, which is funny because I just got staggered twice. The bears have like one single attack that can stagger me, despite having the shield. So yeah, me not getting that is really bad. There we go, I dodged it this time. He's dead, now it spawns the last one. You can basically just kill before he does anything. And that's that fight. This should go a bit better, a bit faster. Things can go wrong all the time. Minor time loss though.
Let's go inside, Geralt.
Go in here. This time I'm going to prepare my Erden sign, because I'm about to fight another golem.
We don't want to raise suspicions.
Wait a second for the quest to change, and then I inspect that statue and open the secret entrance to this little golem slayer here. It's an elemental, not a golem. Dodge most of his attacks while still trying to give him hell, and if he goes into that protective stance, I generally try to hit him from behind, but sometimes he's just facing the wrong way. Yeah, like that. And he hit me with his shockwave. There we go. It's possible to like juke everything he throws at you, but it's tricky. And if he's facing the wrong way while he goes into his defensive stance, and you have to run all the way around him, try and hit him from behind, otherwise you're not going to do any damage to him. This part also is like there's nothing I can do here. I just gotta wait a bit. And no matter what I do, I just have to wait for her to decide to teleport us out.
The damn druid will...
Now there's just a tiny bit of dialogue remaining until this cutscene ends. It looks like I might actually have caught up. Maybe. Yes.
Hey,
Yes, I will have caught up. Which leads me to believe that big time saves are possible. If I wouldn't have lost all that time in Novigrad there. By the way, my horse always runs along here. It's kind of this always happens when you run along here. I don't know why. I guess when you leave it there. This signpost there that I just teleported to, that's one of the signposts that spawns when you look at the map that I bought. So because this is like at literally the other end of the island, it's really useful to have that.
Faster.
Geralt did their like dancing around his horse. Sometimes when you try to mount on your horse, I don't even know what happens, but Geralt decides that he doesn't want to mount and instead just does a weird little animation and then decides not to mount at all. Kind of like trying to get a good angle to mount onto his horse, but in the end he doesn't do it at all. Okay, I didn't really get up this mountain too well. It is possible to get through here without ever stopping, but I would have had to go left a bit more.
Magic.
Pick up this place of power for some more ability points. Then I go talk to the people here who are screaming at each other.
Can hear.
So we enter this little bit of a destroyed forest because we're looking for clues as to why the forest is destroyed. Someone cast like a huge magic spell here. I have to fight some foglets, which are basically the most annoying enemy in this game because they just disappear into their fog. Like you hit them a couple of times and then eventually like that, and they are untargetable once they do that. Eventually they just appear again, but luckily Yennefer helped me and killed it for me. You have to fight a couple of those throughout the run, and they are incredibly annoying. So go here and we look into like sections of the past with this mask that we stole. But this part can go wrong really quickly. You can just like
Portal?
freeze the quest, I guess,
The woman was Ciri.
if you do it incorrectly.
The way she moved, like a witcher. Seems they went that way.
I always have to wait for them to finish their dialogue. And there's a foglet here. Another one who will most likely disappear. Never mind, Yennefer helped me. Good. Getting it before it ever disappears into the mist is like pretty lucky.
Watch out!
So yes, unfortunately I do have to
A magic
wait for this whole
explosion
dialogue
so
to
powerful
finish.
that even the echo was dangerous. I wager it destroyed the forest.
If I don't,
Ciri and her companion weren't harmed. I saw them escape.
the next part just simply doesn't start. So they just wait for ages. But that foglet, I can just skip him. He's gonna despawn right there. And I need to wait for Yennefer to come down here.
This is creepy. I don't like it.
Nor do I.
Someone chased Ciri. See that? Might have wounded her.
She escaped through another portal.
Know where it led?
In the left here, you can see the status of my armor, and the fact that one of my swords is red means that it's been used a lot, and it does less damage now.
I'll try to find it. Come.
So again, I'm gonna run down here. I'm actually gonna wait for Yennefer this time. Usually I run down here directly, but if I do that, she tends to like rubber band back for some reason.
Well,
Yeah, like she did right there, and she just teleported backwards. I don't know what causes that. And now I have to wait for her to walk down here very slowly.
Nice fight.
one repelled the other with powerful magic, then fled through a portal.
A mage?
Most likely. Went flying in that direction.
Something's pinned.
There's only one thing left to do in this
I
weird
can.
forest. I have Yennefer move this log away while Geralt's leg kind of glitches up. And that ankle does not look healthy anymore. Yeah. Oh well. And it looks like I actually saved a lot of time here. Surprisingly, I guess it just worked out better, the whole part. Yeah, I am ahead again. Now before entering this cutscene, I will call my horse. Talk to these women. We enter a garden where we try to like find someone who Ciri talked to once, things like that. It's I mean, I should probably just stop trying to catch up with the story. It's a lot of things happen. Could have headed straight through this forest past a wraith. I don't actually fight the wraith, luckily. She's pretty strong, I'm guessing. And I talked to Yennefer here. We enter the garden. There's only one fight in this garden at all. It's with a wolf. So I don't really worry about having too little HP. I skip a cutscene by going down here.
Let's do what we can.
Got my sword and kill the wolf.
I like this place.
I'll wait near the tree.
And now I do a rather big skip, which I may or may not fail. I jump over here, roll over that, and then roll over the gate. Otherwise, I'd have to like manually open that gate with levers, which are on the other side of the garden. But if I can get that skip, I can just go past all that. If you get just the angle correctly, it's not that difficult. But you can still mess it up a couple of times.
Hey,
Drop down here, and if the game would let me, I'd love to get out of the water. There we go.
Let me know once you find
It's one of those things where the hitboxes of ledges are a bit messed up, where you just can't get out of the water. Find his unfortunately dead body. And Yennefer uses necromancy in order to retrieve information, which is a great idea. Not really. Obviously that brings us to another flashback. We do place here, we go to a sauna.
He's from afar, isn't he?
Oh, yes. From very far away.
Where exactly?
Aren't you nosy?
Surprised? I'm sitting in
To
this
regenerate,
place, probably my
but
whole
we need to
life.
leave soon because we're being hunted, or Ciri's being hunted rather. And this was the instance of nudity that I was talking about. This is the like the only place where you actually have to be involved with it. Everything else is skipped. And now instead of sprinting again, I'm gonna do the thing I always do with Ciri, which is this, but for some reason she latches on to like allied NPCs as well. So yeah, doing that is not always the most effective. In this fight I need to kill 5 enemies before the cutscene ends, or before the fight ends rather. So it's 2, that's 3, or not. Kill this guy and then I'll need 1 more after that. If we have any. Why were there only 4 there? Okay, interesting. So yeah, usually there should be 5 enemies very close to me, but sometimes I guess it decides best not to. Okay, I think I might have broken the game here. Usually there should not be this long a loading screen. Oh no, okay, good. This game isn't happy when it's speedrun. That's unfortunately the case. So crashes and bugs can happen. But I have an instance of Task Manager running always on like a separate monitor, so there's like no risk. I can always just Alt F4, or if that doesn't work anymore, then I just use the Task Manager to kill the process and restart the game. Reload from the last checkpoint, that basically fixes it every time. But yeah, that loading screen is just going to be a time waste. I mean, if we had an auto splitter, this would be fixed, but yeah. You just have to deal with that time loss. Usually it does not load that long. It's right along this beautiful winter shore. And we go back to the girls' worlds with probably like 20 to 30 seconds lost just because of that. Still ahead though, so that's good. We finished the Skellige quest. Skellige quest is actually pretty short in comparison. We go back to Valen because we need to get like a thing. A being called Uma, which is like an elf trapped in a cursed body because he was like mean to people. Not really. He helped Ciri, and so that's why he was put into that body. And so we're trying to get him out of it so he can help us. And he is currently, the being called Uma is currently in this castle, so we're gonna go collect him. But before we do actually get the ability to collect him, we need to go through some more Ciri dialogue and cutscenes and fights. 2 to be exact, actually. It's nothing big, it's just there's 1 horse race that you have to do with Ciri and 1 fight with a basilisk, which is similar to a griffin, I guess. It's just a flying, winged, big monster. Okay, that's another thing that can happen. You just dismount and there's nothing you can do to skip that little cutscene. There's a good chance I'm going to lose like 30 seconds here to what seems to be RNG. We shall see though. So the first thing I'll be doing with Ciri is the race, horse race. It's actually, if I remember correctly, it's the only one I do in this entire run in the horse race. I skip all the others. This one is unskippable though. And then the second part of the Ciri quest here will be fighting a basilisk. And Ciri doesn't have any way of getting flying enemies out of the sky. Geralt has a crossbow, which you can use. I will use it once later on. to like shoot flying enemies down. Ciri does not have that. So if that basilisk decides to fly into the air, you have to wait for it to come back down, which can take like 30 seconds to a minute. So what we do is we reload the game in order to basically force the basilisk onto the ground. But if you get lucky, then you don't even have to do that, and the basilisk stays on the ground long enough for you to hit it and prevent it from going up. But that seems to be more or less random, so there's a good chance I'll have to reload and just lose time by that. Well, we will see that right now, because this is where it happens. Yep, I have to reload. I will lose some time. That's okay. It can't be changed. You can see the basilisk flew into the air before I could do anything. And I have to reload here, and then I have to kill it after that. It's gonna cost me some time, however long the floating screen is. There we go. And now I'll be able to prevent it from ever flying into the sky because I can just hit it whenever it tries. There we go. There's a wolf there. Wait a second. Hold on. There should be no wolves here. But yeah, I was in combat again. I couldn't climb up, so I had to wait for the wolf to leave. Yeah, there should really not be a wolf there. But, you know, strange things happen in this game. Go down. I take some fall damage because I didn't roll. I talk to this guy, all while losing more time. There we go. Fortunately, there's more to it. I still have to talk to some people in, like, this part, only after that split falls. There we go. That's 40 seconds lost. One of the parts of RNG, I guess, in this game. Whether or not the basilisk decides to fly away. Now we have arrived at Kaer Morhen, one of the most beautiful places in this game. It's like a huge just mountain range, and we have a castle here. It's a Witcher castle, but it's kind of inactive. So we come here, and we have to just help out a bunch of people, or 3 people to be exact. First person we're gonna help is Eskel, another Witcher. Good friend. And, yeah, we're gonna help him catch a forktail, which is a monster which gives us, I think, a tier or something? Forktail... I don't know what it is. We have to collect something of the forktail for, like, a potion.
This horse. What's its name? Scorpion? Beautiful animal.
Wait, Eskel's just chilling in the bush up here. We go by him with our horse. And then we help him out with the fight. By helping out, I mean he does literally nothing while I do everything, as always. Dodge that attack. Again, this is one of those fights I have to get him to half HP. Once I do that, it changes, the quest changes, and I just head up this mountain here. Because the forktail is flying to its lair. And usually you'd wait for the forktail to fly there and follow it, but I already know where the lair is, so I'm kind of like running ahead of it. It's right above me. And then it just despawns. Sloppy game making. Not really. You can't blame anyone for doing that.
Hate it when they do that. Might have saved us.
Fled to its lair, looks like.
Good. Means it's done fleeing. Gonna make a stand.
And it's waiting for us right here. Oh, Eskel, you just spawned in front of me. Nice. Tries to bite me. I dodged it though, and it's not dead yet. There we go. I mean, there's no reason to pick up that loot. I just feel like doing it anyway. Try to get... This is a pretty big ledge. If you jump early enough, though, you can get a fast climbing animation. Climbing and ladders are super slow in this game, so if you can prevent either, it's always going to be good. Geralt has some really slow climbing animations. So we helped this guy We finished helping him. I'm gonna try to get through this forest now, but it's super easy to get stuck with the horse. I'll hope for the best. Yeah, like right there. Ah, well. And right there, and yeah. And then the hind hooves go very far into the... When you go down a slope or up a slope with this horse, it can start glitching a bit. Kind of amusing. Yeah, that descent could have been a lot better. Oh, another one of the things that are very hard to control, whether or not you get stuck with your horse. Like, you can just get stuck on everything. Even on this bridge, it sometimes decides, nah, I'm not gonna keep running now, I'm just gonna stop dead in my tracks. That's when I go off because the horse can't gallop up here, just like in a city. Oh, this doesn't really look like much of a city. And even though it's possible to climb up those walls there, just because climbing animations are so slow, it's probably faster to simply run around. You can also jump, climb up. I can actually do it right now and just show how incredibly slow it is. You can go up here and then just Geralt has to pull himself over. It's faster to run around in that case. I usually do that, I just wanted to share the pain of watching Geralt climb up. Has to do more pull-ups, that man. Alright, Lambert's the second person I have to help, but I'm not gonna help him. Well, I am gonna help him now.
Can't get to the circle through the mountain.
He needs my help somewhere like really far away, and I could go there by foot and by horse.
Like when we did the trial of the medallion.
But I could also do
Remember the way?
what I'm doing right now.
Easily forgotten
It's a
that.
bit tricky. Well, like, not difficult tricky, but it's just, you know, it's sneaky.
May set off on the path.
What I do is I kind of piss off Yennefer, and as a reaction to that,
Piece of shit.
she decides to teleport me into the lake. Which is, you know, not pretty pleasant, but it allows me to go right where I need to go, so you can kind of do that
Really not in the mood.
instead of running down all the way to the stock. And it saves a bit of time. It's good. Go underneath here, and that should trigger the cutscene, or not. There we go.
Damn it.
Now comes a pretty scary fight. I'm about to fight a super over-leveled water hag. See how it goes. For now, though, I need to fight some drowners. Hopefully without taking too much damage. Alright, because again, that water hag does a lot of damage. Because I go through this so quickly, there's many quests for which I'm not the appropriate level. Especially from here on out. So I'm gonna have to fight several enemies which have inflated HP and do a shit ton of damage. There's the water hag. I will actually use Quen here just to make sure that nothing bad happens, and a thunderbolt for some extra damage over time. Seems to be going good so far, though. Ah, she slapped me twice there. I'm gonna recast my Quen, dodge the slime she's throwing at me, which would blind me. And you really don't want to be blinded when fighting a water hag. And now, since I only have one mutagen, I'm actually gonna go and scour for one. No, no, and no. I got pretty unlucky, damn. I'm actually gonna just take a chance and go for this one over here. No, it's also blue mutagen. Alright, so I need red mutagens. I actually got surprisingly unlucky. The chance of a red mutagen dropping here is usually pretty high. And I'm stuck in a boat. This is gonna be a time loss, definitely. Because I remember that in my PB run, I didn't even bother looking for a mutagen because I already had to. And now I looked for them, didn't find one, and I couldn't get into the boat. Like, this boat?
Boat yourself?
Yeah. Something you
is
don't like
incredibly
about it?
buggy.
Besides the water up to our ankles?
Once you stand in the middle, you can't move. Like, it doesn't
It'll make
allow
it
you to
across
walk
the
anymore, so you have to
Provided
jump
we don't smash into something
around,
first.
and or you
Yes,
just jump
it's
off the
all
boat and
nose.
get in at a different place. But yeah, it's a mess. Anyway, this is like I believe a 1 minute segment, which you
Fog's
simply
thick as
can't
coconut.
skip. There's
Never took you
at least
for
we
a
haven't
poet.
found a skip. You
Oh,
just
but I am
sit
one.
around for a while,
Wanna hear a limerick?
listen to the
Lambert, what a
dialogue
Not bad.
between these two friends, and you wait. It's a good place for a bathroom break, which is sometimes necessary, especially with without an auto splitter.
Fall off a bit. Sails fluttering.
Don't teach your
A load
grandma
time
to suck
removal.
eggs.
So yeah, you just
Right,
go
almost
across
there.
this lake and eventually arrive at this cave. Whoops. I went the wrong way. Where you go to like a circle of elements and do some kind of a magical thing in order to help out in preparations.
Wall looks a little shaky.
Mine not stomping like
Jump
that.
over that.
Relax.
The game wants you to use your telekinetic blast here to get through this debris, but
What?
you can just jump over it.
Splinter, I think.
Hope it wasn't from a broken mirror. That'd make you even nastier.
Place reeks of
There's
mold.
probably going to be some more long climbing animations here.
Sweet, just
You have to be like at a perfect angle
makes
to
you
not
wanna
get a
make this
climbing
moment
animation.
last forever.
A long one. That was pretty good. This one's, oh, damn, also pretty good. Alright. Not bad, not bad. I keep going the wrong way. I keep thinking I'm facing the opposite direction. Whoops.
Coming.
Another place of power here that I'm going to pick up for that ability point. And I'm actually going to equip it right now. I would have loved to have a second red mutagen here, but I got really unlucky. And 2 out of the potential
See him shit
mutagen
and run as soon
spawns,
as he saw us?
I didn't get any.
Never known a troll to do that.
Yeah. I can't change that though. I'll have to live with 1. That's less damage, but it'll be fine. These trolls are also super overleveled, so I do everything I can not to fight them.
I think we might have missed your calling. If I remember Pappy Vesemir's lessons correctly, Witchers kill monster.
Get a bit of a scolding because I go for the diplomatic route instead of, you know, killing the oh boy, killing the trolls.
Then air?
I really only do it because it's faster.
All right.
Thereafter, like, light 4 pillars of fire. And that doesn't, like, work half the time. It's very annoying. Yeah, sometimes you just... Trying to light things on fire in this game by using your interact key is very annoying, because you tend to just interact with something that you're not intending to interact with. And trying to do it with your Igni, with your sign, with your magic fire, so it usually just doesn't work because the hitboxes don't add up or something. I don't even know why, but anyway. I go talk to her now, and I do a little bit of a quest for her, I guess. I have to like find a crate of Dimeridium bombs. And after that, there's a long, long segment of dialogue. And then the split ends. But like I said, I will most likely be behind due to that, you know, drowner mishap where I was trying to look for a mutagen, but I didn't find one, and then I couldn't get into the boat. Can happen. The crates I'm looking for are right here.
Ah, there you are.
Unfortunately, I couldn't inspect them without using the object she gave me, even though I know they're there. Yes, I found the crates, I moved them, or rather Vesemir moved them, and I go back to her. It's not like walking around in between people and talking to them and doing little things for them in this game, especially in the main game run. Less so in Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. Yes. Once I talk to her. The super long cutscene begins. So yeah, I'm just basically holding holding down my auto hotkey for now. Spamming 1 for a while. It's already 40 seconds behind last split. I'm probably going to be a lot more behind this split. We shall see though how much exactly it is. Could go on have a fun drinking night with these guys, but instead I just tell them I want to go to sleep because that's faster. I gotta brew this thing for what we're doing. Go talk to Yennefer again and give her the potion. There's no real point in doing this, like... The game could have just done that itself, but I guess you just have to walk to the table, go into your crafting menu, craft the potion, and then go back. It's kind of pointless. Actually, it doesn't look like I'm going to be saving too much, losing too much time. In fact, it looks like I'll be saving time. That's
pretty good.
really surprising, despite what happened at the shore there, but okay. I'm not complaining. Gotta equip my 2 swords again because they unequip at this point. I jump very early there because if I jump too late, we get like a vaulting animation and that's really slow. Whoa, camera, please. Let's calm down there. You look at the beautiful mountains and then you fall down or get stopped by a weird bottle, which has a huge hitbox. Tiny objects in this game have huge hitboxes. Like if there's a vase lying in a door, you cannot get through that door. It's kind of annoying. Okay, we go to Skellige. Now we get to the Isle of Mist, which is personally one of my like least favorite parts of this run. I don't know, it's a lot can go wrong and there's like some super over-leveled enemies. I attack and I trigger the guards with that. Whatever. Let them be mad. I go into this boat not because I like want to drive much with it, but because I actually need a boat to start this next quest. I can also, when I'm in a boat, I can fast travel to certain like harbor points, which I just did. And then I need to turn this big boy around and head into that archway that's barely visible by now, but like underneath that tower. Once I do that, I get teleported to this like secret island, which doesn't really exist, but kind of does. And spoiler alert, that's where I finally find the person who I've been looking for the past 2 hours and 8 minutes. That's not true, actually. I only find out that I'm supposed to look for her after like 10 minutes, so fine, it's like not even 2 hours yet, but still. Whoops. Yeah. There was something very shallow in the water there, so Geralt automatically kind of drove around it. Yeah, this is the archway I was talking about. Once you enter it with a boat, you agree that this next segment is going to be very long and you should save. But, you know, we don't save in speedruns. Saving isn't necessary. And then welcome to the Isle of Mists, a very misty place. Kind of scary. You know, just because of the atmosphere, but also because of the enemies that are on this island, including but not limited to foglets, or I guess a twisted version of foglets, which I was talking about earlier. I absolutely hate them. I have to fight 4 of them in total, I believe. We also saw like a, I don't even know how to pronounce what that monster's called, but yeah, Echidna. They latch onto the boat and they kind of try to tear it to pieces. I don't really bother with them, you know, they don't slow you down or anything. And if Geralt would actually get out of the boat, like he should, I might be stuck in here. And this is not very good. There we go. Now I'm out. Usually you have to jump to get out of the boat, but I actually, every time that's happened, that there's like one of those launching onto my boat when I arrive here, you're usually able to just leave the boat instantly. I don't know why it didn't work there. Anyhow, I'm doing something that I only do later in the quest actually, which is inspect a body here, but you see that huge fiend there?
Flee the fiend.
That thing is like 20 levels above me or something, so
Here, too slow.
if it decides to attack me, I have many thousand HP points to kill. It takes a long time. That thing is over leveled, and if you fight it, your run is basically dead. So you'd have to reload, and I don't even know where the last the last save point is. I think it's actually before you enter the Isle of Mist, so it's just a huge time loss. That's why this island is kind of scary, but I managed to get past it
Fireflies
without
stuck in
the
hut.
fiend attacking me,
Inside, locked.
and the rest is, I guess, easier or less risky. It's not like that was difficult. What I did there is just a risk that I would have to like throw away the run. Lose several minutes. Now I'm just gonna go through here. Hopefully not take fall damage. I skipped the fight with all these harpies, and I go and fight with these guys, some hags, who, in opposition to the water hag I fought earlier, are really easy to kill. Okay, for some reason all the graphics in this game have suddenly just stopped working. My fire isn't showing, the slime they're throwing isn't showing. Not even the blindness effect is showing. I don't know what I did, but I think I broke the game. Yeah. It just doesn't show the flames for some reason. It's like all particles were removed from the game. I don't even know why. Anyway. I try to save that dwarf. Basically, I try to save 3 dwarfs. The first one I was looking for there. When the fiend was there. I already did that before. I actually went to go start the quest. And I found out, okay, he's been killed. And then I go to this guy, who's like on top of a cliff. And I save him from the monsters, but then he falls down. And then I go up here into the tower to look for the last one, and he turns out to be a dwarf with insomnia.
Hey, wake up.
No, actually, well, it's I guess it's a form of it. He falls asleep all the time because he like can't sleep at night or something. So anyway, here we fight those foglets. Really not my favorite pastime, but well, they're called differently here. And they do a lot of damage. And they're gone. Can spend however much time they wish in their stupid fog forms, and I can't get them out in any way. I most likely will not be able to meditate here. It's fine though. I just gotta like not die to him. There we go. And now comes the second most annoying escort mission in this game, which is this stupid dwarf. I was able to meditate there. He just keeps falling asleep.
Stronger than me, I'm so sorry.
And his ankle is
Wake up.
completely broken. Like, look at that. Oof. That's insane. Anyway, I guess he's just like a super elastic dwarf, but nah, whatever.
Know much about this isle.
He can get stuck on literally everything. He could just start running around trees in circles for no reason at all. So yeah, not very fun.
The one thing I'm sure of.
Oh no, Geralt. Let's not fight monster with fists, that's not a good idea. It was my bad, I accidentally put my sword away, but... Now technically, this thing should... Not even my Erden shows up anymore, the trap I set down. It should prevent the foglet from going into its wraith form, but keyword here is should. Yeah, I don't know. I messed something up with the particles, but that's actually never happened to me before. I don't know why, what triggered it, but as long as the game still ends, you know, whatever. So now I kind of have to take him through this forest, and he decides to run backwards. That is amazing. Now there's a piece of wood in the ground that he gets scared of. I wish there was a better way to deal with this, but taking the other path like makes him fall asleep 3 more times, and you have to kill a bunch of harpies. So this is the lesser of 2 evils. Some point right around here he should fall asleep again. There we go. And I just have to wake him up.
Wake up.
That's the last time though. That's the hut where I have to take him to. The NPC missions, like NPC follow missions in this game, are in some cases better than many other games, but if you look at something like this, it's just terrible for the speedrun.
Just kind of turned out that way.
Not too keen on talking about it, are you?
Not really.
So I escort him up here, and yeah, I finally find Cyrilla, but I don't talk to her a lot because I'm like, nah, we need to get to the Battle of Kirmor now, and somehow I just saved like almost a minute. Interesting. That wasn't even very, that could have been optimized better, definitely. Could have been done better. But that's behind us now, so let's focus on maybe getting a bit of a lead here. I think that would be possible. We're back to Kirmorn, and now we kind of prepare for the halfway climax of the game. Like, I don't even know what to call this. It's like a huge battle, but it's not the ending, it's not the finale. The Battle of Kirmorn is... When I first started running this, it seemed like that would be a really difficult part. But there's a couple of ways you can just kind of cheese it. And yeah, I'll be doing that. It doesn't take that long for now, though. In preparation, there's like 2 things I get, which is a new sword and a potion, which is a regeneration potion. I'll gladly equip those. Silver Sword is going to help me a lot with damage. I will also equip my crossbow. Wait, hold on. That's not actually what I meant to do. There we go. I completely messed this up. That's fine. I do need food on that slot. Wait. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay, so now I am kind of stacked out in terms of potions. I have all that I need. Regeneration, damage, and stamina regeneration. And I get this thing called the Dimeridium Bomb, which allows me to close portals by just throwing the Dimeridium Bomb at it. This part, like if you play it normally, you'd close the portal and then like kill all the people around it, but I'm just gonna close the portal and run away.
Not that I don't trust this invisibility.
Yeah, that would not hit. There we go.
One less to worry about.
Luckily, you have like an infinite supply of these bombs, though.
Problem solved.
There we go. That's all 3 of them, and it doesn't end instantly, but eventually the cutscene just triggers, even if you don't kill all the warriors. When we switch to Ciri, we skip these 2 hounds because we don't actually have to kill them. One-shot those and 2-shot these. There we go. And despite these guys coming over here, I don't actually need to kill them. Like, I don't need to kill that guy. There's no point.
Come on, Roach.
So I get on my horse, Geralt. And this is like, what, playing Ciri there is no longer like a flashback. She's actually here right now. You just switch in between the 2. Geralt like starts outside the keep and now has to head back. Okay. Interesting. That really shouldn't happen. There should be no horse cutscene there. It's like the one place where you're safe to take your horse into a cutscene. Because the cutscene includes you getting off your horse anyway, so... That didn't really make any sense. Okay. At this point, because I'm in combat, my stamina regenerates very slowly. Stamina also allows you to sprint, so I'm out of stamina, I can't sprint anymore. And I'll just have to roll my way to the gates. you're supposed to help Lambert fight those guys here, but you don't have to. Unfortunately,
They're sons of bitches! They killed Lambert!
that happens.
Gotta pull back! The other
There's one little part here where I can actually equip ability points. And I will get this ability, which is absolutely broken, called Rend. I'm gonna be using it a lot throughout the run from now on. It's like a last part of the run ability. I won't show it off just yet because it's just more effective to use this to just attack these guys normally. When you actually be using fast attacks here, because they're more effective against fast running enemies. Back to Siri.
Should have stayed in the keep. Such a
And hopefully I can one-shot all these guys without any issues. Yes.
Have to open the gate for them.
That does it. Now comes kind of the last portion where I need to close a couple more portals. Whoops. I actually meant to go around him. Again, I'm rolling here because rolling does not cost stamina, while sprinting does. Just gonna close this portal with my Erden. Throw my bomb at that one. I'll throw another bomb at that one. And now I don't have infinite bombs anymore. Now I need to actually resupply right here. Head over to the other side. And just close the other two portals. Hopefully without getting attacked. If you get attacked while aiming a bomb, it like cancels the animation, so that's kind of unfortunate. So that actually finalizes the Battle of Kaer It's a lot faster than when you do it in, you know, a casual playthrough. Because you just kind of go past half of the things you're actually supposed to do. And that's all there is to it.
Zirel can harness immense amounts of power.
Once again, I'm forced into slow walking there, so I just go around that by attacking and rolling twice. And here's where some more dialogue choices start getting important. You can get 3 different endings in this game. I'm going for the worst, unfortunately, because it's the fastest. I lost a bit of time, but it's fine. Yeah, I'm going for the worst ending. It's got 1 boss fight, but that's like it. The other 2 endings, they have a lot of other like side quests and whatnot. So they take up a lot more time. In order to get the worst ending, I basically have to be a not a very nice person to Siri. One of the other places where I get locked into
Any foe he faces, he strives to impress.
wow.
The other one,
I just completely rolled up that hill. That's actually really surprising. It's... okay. Not bad. One of the places was there where I was locked into slow walking, so I did the rolling thing. And for some reason I managed to get it like perfectly all the way up the hill. Never gotten that before, I think. At least once I've always had to attack again to like get myself back into combat. Ah well. I guess the button spamming was on point. So here's another... There's 2 more boss fights that are coming up here. But first I have to like dive into this pool without getting attacked by the drowners, hopefully. Kind of have to dodge the drowners. You can't really... Yeah, okay, never mind. Sometimes they decide just to be, you know, mean and aggressive. But sometimes you can kind of just dupe them, but... Look, this guy's gonna attack me. And probably the other one as well. Unless I can... Nope, I got out of it with 2 hits. That's not too bad. You're not at really risk of dying to them, but it's just... It slows you down if they hit you. There's a fiend back there, but I'm not gonna fight him because fiends have a lot of HP. and we don't like HP. You can see on the top right that there's that little red skull. That means that the quest is over my level, and now comes
I was beginning to work.
one of the most difficult fights in the game, just because you can be one-shot.
To do the diving in that cave.
Well, not one-shot, two-shot. My bad. This is the easiest difficulty, so generally you're not like used to taking a lot of damage, but this guy is so over-leveled that he takes over half your HP away in one hit, so you can't really be hit at all. Couple of things I try to do get that, but one of the things will be to actually equip 2 abilities here. Only one, because they don't have another point yet, but soon I'll equip the second one. What that ability does is like a second chance ability, I guess. Allows me to regain my HP if I get killed. Anyway, here's the guy who's over-leveled. We have to fight him. Try to stagger him, but again, I will use Quen here. I do want to use my Rend, the ability I was talking about that is broken. Right now, this is what I'm doing. I'm basically, get a chance to stun lock him. Yeah, you see how much damage he did with that. But this was an amazing fight. I was able to stun lock him and he only hit me once, and that's totally fine. So what you saw me do there was like use that overhead swing. Technically that's supposed to be like a charge up ability, but you can also use it as like a spam if you just get the timing right. If you do, you can stun lock enemies with it and get through basically all defenses. And that's why it's so strong. And you can, it's supposed to like cost stamina, but you can, if you do it just correctly, you can do it like for an infinitely long time. It just doesn't cost you any stamina. So here we fight the crones. We try to actually, you know, end them. If we don't get slapped by them. Oh, we are getting very slapped by them. The point here is to attack the small ones first, because they can go invincible. Yeah, they can like go untargetable. So basically, you maximize your damage by hitting this one only when you can't hit the other two. Trying to kill these first. But yeah, as you see, both of them just went untargetable, so I have to fight this one now. There we go, killed her, but I already got some good damage off of these guys. Yeah, they're just all disappearing in front of me. This one should be dead, there we go. And then this one should also be dead soon. If she doesn't keep going untargetable. There we go. Not a very difficult fight in terms of dying, but getting it quickly is difficult.
It's at the summit. Gotta be.
Optimizing your hits and not getting stunned all the time is
Draw from it.
requires precise movements and dodging and everything like that. Now comes the second part of this fight, or rather the third boss fight. I mean, I fought 2 already. Where I fight this guy, and I will use my Rend against him. Basically, I Rend him twice. I should have kept doing it there. It was a mistake I keep making to prevent him from like going into this part of his attack. But despite that, I can still hit him and end the fight that way. It is possible to prevent him from ever going to that second stage, though, if I do it correctly. Still a good emulator fight, though. And that brings us to Novigrad, the second time. If you remember the first time I got to Novigrad, I was talking about how I uncovered that. By the way, the reason why Geralt looks so terrible right now is because he has a lot of potions in him, and you can see the toxicity bar at the top left. It's almost full. So that's why he looks like he had a bit too much toxic stuff in him. It goes away after a while, though. As I was saying, later on in a quest that's coming up soon, I will be using that signpost that I picked up at the very beginning of Novigrad. For now, I'm gonna enter this house again, which I had entered earlier. And we're about to go on like a world trip, I guess, between worlds with this Havelock guy with Elven Sage. He has like an aura around him which prevents you from sprinting. So what I do is I get out of his range, and now I'm allowed to sprint again. And I use my combat roll to do that. So he's all the way back there. I would have to walk all this way with him, but instead I just sprint ahead, go to where he ends up, and trigger the cutscene there. Yeah, this is all like different planets or whatever. It's never really explained what exactly this is.
The portal.
It's just a different world.
It's more like a ruin.
Appearances can be deceiving.
So what are we waiting for?
For it to
Gonna wait a bit here. I have to kill a couple of like sand crabs. You can also already see Geralt's faces a lot better as the toxicity is decreasing.
What's going on?
the sand crabs have sensed our
Use my
presence.
Quen as an anti-stagger tool so I won't get stunned or anything. Guessing the first one will spawn right here? No. All the way on the mountain, okay. There's a like limited amount of these that you have to kill. And eventually the quest just changes. Yeah.
They just keep coming.
Defeat the four. As soon as the portal opens, jump in after me. 3, 2, 1.
Optimal is to be at the portal when he says 3, 2, 1s, but
What a relief.
I had to keep going the monsters there, otherwise it just wouldn't have triggered at all. This part used to be really difficult, I guess, because you try to kind of like glitch down that wall there, but it's just so risky because Geralt takes so much fall damage that I just kind of go around a bit. Loses like 5 seconds, I guess, but it prevents any and all chance of dying, so it's definitely worth it. It's just this toxic mist that where I can't stay too long in it, otherwise I start losing HP. I have to cross it to get to the next portal. This is like the, I guess, safest path where you don't lose too much. Lose a tiny bit HP. After that, we teleport to an underwater world, which there's like no point to it all. You just swim forward for 3 seconds and you're in the next portal. Right now. And then we come to the last world, which is like an ice-covered world, where there's a blizzard, and if you walk into the blizzard, you take damage, so you have to kind of protect yourself, which is right here. I start in a cave. I'm going to start by casting the Quen sign on me, because it protects me from the blizzard for just a tiny bit, right through this ice wall. The blizzard also isn't showing, because the particles aren't there. There should be like a snowstorm going on. Instead, this just looks like a very pleasant ski day with some nice sun in the background. You can hear the wind, but you can't see it. I just go from like cover to cover. I mean, if I didn't know where it was, I probably wouldn't figure it out because I really cannot see where the wind is blowing and where it isn't. But I go from cover to cover, cast Quen when I'm behind cover, because if you cast Quen inside the snowstorm, it won't actually protect you. Only if you cast behind cover, like right now. I'll actually use a regeneration potion to just give me a bit of HP back, so that I don't die to this, and I don't have to like wait for my HP to regen fully. There's another bit of cover here. I can cast Quen again, and then make my way back, or not back, just make my way to the place I need to go to. After drinking another swallow potion. If you drink potions, your toxicity increases. That's why Geralt looked so terrible before, because I drank a lot of potions. But if you don't overdo it, it's not like a problem. Eventually he just starts taking toxicity damage. You can see it on that green bar on the top left as well. So yeah, warm up by the little fire, wait for the portal to open. And then I'm almost done with the with this quest.
At last,
This to you, Nalia?
the Palace of Awakening, formerly the Moon Palace. Gel's headquarters.
Yeah. Another slow walking aura. This guy loves making people walk slowly around him. Kind of annoying.
Beautiful.
I'm glad to know you.
But with this one, there's really nothing I can do to get past it.
Is a bit more sophisticated.
Just have to start walking immediately. And we go this is the world of the elves, by the way. That's why we went through all those worlds, to go to the elves. Yay. Just need like help of one of the elf generals. There's a bit of dialogue left and a really long loading screen, so I might have lost some time. I'm not sure what exactly it's gonna be though. Despite me having this on an SSD, the loading times are still pretty long. And despite my split saying something differently, I'm going to actually go in a different order here than what I usually do. Just because I believe it saves a bit more time. There's 3 quests I have to complete. I usually do it in a different order. I do another one first, but this one I'll do this one first and just see how it goes. I've done it once before, it's worked pretty well. These guys don't actually have to like kill them or fight them. I just have to wait for a second because they let us in.
To say the least.
I wonder what they're doing.
We'll know soon enough.
This is the guy we killed earlier, but a Doppler, like a friend of ours, a Doppler, who's kind of a shapeshifter, he just turned into that person and is like using his reputation to do good stuff in the world. Now we should follow Siri by foot and like go to the next location. She wants to do a couple of things with us, like talk to old friends and whatnot, but so I'm just gonna use the signpost because, you know, why would you travel on foot if you could just teleport? I go to that tavern again, where I also went to Skellige, from which, but before I talk to Siri, who like spawns out of thin air, just because I was too far away. Enter here. Talk to the bandits, tell them to go away. Help Siri with thanks to an old friend, and then I use another signpost. And this is where I teleport to that signpost that I uncovered a long time ago. The reason why this saves a good chunk of time is because, you know how Siri spawned there in front of the tavern and I had to talk to her? I skipped that necessity if I go to this signpost. If I went to the one on the right, I would have to talk to Siri again before continuing the quest.
Seems nice.
In this case, whoops, I can just run exactly where I need to go without having to wait for Siri to spawn or anything, because I'm close enough to her. Yeah, she's just waiting here for me.
The camp of...
Where's this friend of yours?
It's another race, which I could do, but I won't because it's a time waste. And yeah, I just sit down with Siri and talk about life. This guy wants to steal some horses with me, but I'm like, nah, I'm a upstanding citizen, I won't steal things, so I have to beat him up. Even though he's totally in the right, like he totally deserves those horses. They were kind of like stolen from him, but Geralt, you know, has to be mean to everyone. And it's simply faster to beat him up instead of going for the horses. Now I go help Triss Marigold with her quest. There's one for Triss, one for Ciri, and one for Yennefer. I teleport back to the Rosemary and Thyme. I'm gonna just skip that. Because again, they're in the wrong order. I go up here. Go. More dialogue that teleports me to a fountain. This split seems very short, I know. It is actually very short, there's not a lot of stuff that goes on here. Ooh, the camera kind of bugged out again. I am going to pick up this ability and put one more point into that. Because that second ability goes hand in hand with the Undying ability, which I picked up earlier, which allows me to basically not die whenever I reach 0 HP, so in a certain way I'm invincible if there's a couple of like requirements met, being that I have an adrenaline point. Which adrenaline points, by the way, I haven't talked about that at all, are those that red bar beneath my stamina. Those are adrenaline points, and they fill up if you attack people. As long as I have one of those,
Damn, she cast a spell on them.
as long as I have one of those, I will be able to, like, resist death, I guess. If not, like right now I have one. If someone, like, got me down to 0 HP now, I would die. As long as I have one. I also saw me use my rend again there, which just completely went through the defenses of, you know, the shield and the guy that could parry with his sword. It's really useful. It even works on bigger enemies, like the one I'm about to fight. It's just a huge golem. And it does a lot of damage, and like I said, it stun locks most enemies. There we go. Even the golem is stun locked by that. He sets me on fire though. So, you know, that's not good, but who cares? Girl takes no damage.
So quiet all of a sudden.
Jump up here, I have to basically catch this person. Because she thinks I want to like kill her or something, but I actually only want to help her. Because she's a friend. But she's a very suspicious person. Anyway. Oh, I forgot to split again. Whatever, I'll just skip that then. So now I head to the last of the 3 missions in Novigrad Part 2, which is with the Emperor. It's the longest one, I believe. You kind of enter a garrison. A Redanian garrison, and save another sorceress. The problem with that used to be that garrison, of course, is full of guards, and you'd have to kill all of them, and some of them are overleveled. But there's a simple solution to that, really, which is enlisting your friend Zoltan to make them all drunk, and then they just aren't there. So only works if you didn't help Triss Marigold in an earlier quest. That's why it usually doesn't work in casual playthroughs, but like it allows you to kind of just skip every fight in the garrison, which makes it really easy. So yeah, that split used to be, the Yennefer split used to be terrifying in this run, because you would get like one shot by all the guards that you had to fight, and you were in a crowded little room with all of them, so you had to, it was really difficult and super easy to mess up. But ever since we kind of decided it was better to just go talk to Zoltan, yeah, it's gotten really easy. And of course it saves a bunch. It's not even, doesn't only make it easier, it just saves time. Period. You have to teleport there anyway. And so you can just go talk to Zoltan, who should be standing, well, he's inside the tavern now, but right here.
Zoltan.
Don't want to play Gwent with him though. Then you go to the signpost out back and travel back to Oxenford to the academy. Been a couple of times. Where we will attempt to enter the garrison through the sewers. Yennefer's waiting there for me. And now all the guards are, or not the ones out here, but the ones in the garrison are, they're drunk, so they won't notice me. I only have to kill one person, which is the warden, because he has the key for the cell that I need to unlock.
Wet clothes. Oh joy.
Oops, I jumped over that. I actually meant to go in. So here's another chance for me to get a second red mutagen, which is kind of like 2 red mutagens is kind of necessary for the finale. One is just bad. 3 you don't really need. But 2 is kind of a minimum necessity. So I hope that I'll get one here. Again, it's random drop chance though, so. I only wish. I one-shotted that guy, very nice. Now I have some more the drowners can drop red mutagens. This guy might also be one-shot. Never mind, I don't get a crit. First of all, though, I have to pick up this lever. I'll need it to open another gate somewhere else. And I did get a red mutagen, very good. Alright, I'll actually equip that right now. I'm very glad that worked out. And that'll give me enough damage to kind of get through the rest of the game without worries.
That ought to do it.
Have Geralt open the door. Then I'll use my Quen, because I'm about to fight a
Wall looks brittle.
necrophage, which is like an exploding enemy. We go, he just explodes all the ghouls around him, and I want to stand, if I want to stand in that explosion and take the damage, then I actually need to cast Quen. So I keep just banging down on the heads of the enemies while it, like the thing's exploding, and it instantly kills them if I do it correctly. So that's good, because that worked.
Come on.
Alright, this guy thinks he can dodge my Ren, but he can only do so twice. So there we go. First we enter through the sewers, now I can head up into the main grounds. Oh wait, no I can't, I have to kill these guys first, I forgot. Oh, that works as well. See what I mean? Rend is a very powerful ability, just does a lot of damage.
Guards are drunk.
Technically this place would be like
Could get louder than
swarming with
so they can
guards.
notice me.
But they don't notice me at all. I just have to head into this warden's office, use a Thunderbolt here because he has a lot of HP. Smack him a couple of times, loot his items, hopefully, there we go, because he has the key. And head back down, all without being noticed. If the game would let me. Nice, okay. Now, comes a questionable part of this run, which is a crash. There's a part in this run where the game crashes for certain, every time. For everyone, like every person who's run this has had that issue on this patch. So I think we finally found a fix for it though, which is simply reloading the last checkpoint, which is definitely faster than like restarting the game, because that's what you have to do. Whoa, why Geralt, what are you doing? Talk to Zoltan. I think I skipped like a lot of these splits last time. Anyhow. Now I go up these stairs. I go through this dialogue and afterwards the game tends to crash, but if I'm fast enough, I think I'm able to prevent it. We'll see. This is some more practice, but I guess it can always happen that the game crashes. It's not a problem though. Like you can just restart the game and load the last checkpoint, just wastes time. But simply loading, like fast loading the last checkpoint, it seems to be a consistent fix. Spawn right here, and usually as soon as I walk down these stairs, the game crashes. But I think it actually worked, which is really awesome. Okay. I always split after the crash, because I kind of want to just incorporate that in the split. But looks like I don't need to anymore. Okay, I head to the docks, where we head back to Skellige for like the last section of the game. Kind of closing in on the finale here.
Help protect.
We barely made it there. Almost fell down into the water. Good, okay. This is one of the longest splits actually, because there's like 4 things I need to take care of all over the place, but yeah, we'll see. If I can, I'm not sure if I'm ahead or not anymore because I skipped all these splits, but we'll see. We'll see how this ends. Apparently I have 11 minutes to finish it. Well, no, 13 minutes. I mixed that up. 30 minutes should be a good time for Sunstone. I'm not sure exactly what though. Now, first I head up to the bridge. Okay, my screen is flickering. I'm not sure why. Whatever. I don't think it's being captured in OBS, so I'll just worry about it later. There's this little fight scene here as well. Which, yeah, as you can see, like that white bar on the top left. I'm being completely blocked by I'm stuck in a wall. Okay, there we go. This can happen. Your allies tend to be more a hindrance than anything else. But yes. You can see that XP bar in the top left, that white bar above my HP. Once that fills up to the next level, I should be able to kill these guys more easily, but it doesn't seem like it's happening in this fight. XP in this game is a bit curious. Because as you can see, they're also over-leveled, the enemies. There we go. And over-leveled enemies get inflated HP, meaning it takes just unnaturally longer to kill them. But I'm only going to level up, not even now. I barely have enough HP. I just need a bit XP I'm talking about. I just need a tiny bit more.
Foreigner, what's your step?
But for now, that's not important anymore. That just would have been useful for that fight. It's too late now, though. Okay, we go to the shore here. We talk to this guy. There's technically a second person you could talk to, but he's a lot farther out. He's like a pearl diver who's somewhere on that peninsula. So we just talk to this guy because he can also help us. Oh boy. People throwing around stuff in the garden. This is what I was talking about earlier with going back and forth. This is all about just like girls running back and forth between signposts and teleportations and allies, enemies, whatnot. There's a lot of that, and especially in this split. What was that? I don't know. Sometimes when you aim for the water, Geralt does like a diving animation, and if you still land on top of like solid ground, he's just gonna dive into the ground. Always slightly amusing when he face plants onto a wooden floor. Gonna travel around a bit. I have to help these guys like break and enter a laboratory.
Entrance is very well.
And we will fight another golem here. With Ren this time. Once again. He actually got a hit off on me, and we'll get a second one it seems. Never mind, now I can stunlock him. Usually I'm supposed to be able to stunlock him instantly, but sometimes he's locked into an animation, and no matter what you do, it's not going to stop it. Still a good golem fight though. For now, I just inspect the rest of this, and then comes another important decision in this game, which determines your ending, which one you get, and I of course have to pick the not so nice one. There's a second one coming up right here. Also have to be just not a good father figure. Fortunately, to provoke the bad ending. And also this saves time, otherwise I'd have to like go with Ciri to another map and help her with something. So, now comes my favorite part of this run. Bridge diving. I jump over here and I just fall all the way into the water. This is actually a legitimate strat. Trust me. Because you need to take a boat around this island. And the closest boat is here. This is the closest boat to that part of the island, so... Oh great, girl jumped into the water. That's not what I wanted. The other boat is like all the way back there in the harbor. So just teleporting on top of the bridge, jumping down, and taking this boat. It's faster, and it's fun. You can see what it looks like when Geralt does some cliff diving. There should also be like particles of water in the bottom of the boat. Those are also not there, so I guess there's really something up with particles in this game. I don't even know how to fix it, what caused it. It's difficult to tell. All I know is that it's never happened before, and I hope it never happens again. It's kind of scary. We got some sirens chasing after us, but they're actually too slow to do anything. And I just try to get my boat there as quickly as possible. And now comes like a really long part of just running through caves and fighting things. You fight a couple of things, actually. 2, 3. Either way, I'll need my crossbow here
Just
to shoot something out of the sky.
I say, look at this.
And then a golem. And some drowners. I'm looking for like an artifact called the Sunstone that's somewhere in these caves. Yeah, the first thing that happens here is that I meet the siren who I need to shoot out of the sky. And she's gonna spawn there in a second. I'll use my crossbow for that. There we go. If I don't shoot her out of the sky, she will just keep spawning more drowners, so it's really important to kill her before the drowners. Otherwise, you've got a lot of drowners on your hands. Run up here to trigger the cutscene, and hopefully I can make the jump this time. I cannot, no. Alright, whatever, I'll just climb up. Philippa makes like a bridge here, but you don't actually need that. You can just jump over. There's a golem here.
Let's go.
Should try to stun lock, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. And I go back here to pick up a really strong silver sword. Equip that right now. It's gonna give me some good extra damage for the final finale fights, I guess. From this point on, I don't fight any like humans anymore, or normal animals. I only fight monsters and elves, like wraiths. And all of them only take damage from silver swords, so I don't even need to worry about a steel sword anymore. This room basically has 3 mirrors, and I just have to interact with each 3 of them. And the best order to do this is to go to the left first, and then to the right, and then to the middle, because the sunstone is right there on that plateau there. So basically it's best to just go there from the middle. You should go around here, but you can also kind of climb up this wall. You should go around that side. This is faster though. And I kind of glitched down here in a weird way. There's ghosts there that I could fight, but I don't actually have to. And then I turn the 3rd mirror. And that allows me to pick up the sunstone. Right here. Which should also have like a particle sphere around it, but you know. Definitely taking some fall damage there had I not rolled to cancel the fall, but jumping does make it a bit faster. So the game actually wants you to leave this cave through like a back exit, but there's 2 reasons why I go back all the way I came in. First of all, there's no enemies here. If you go through the back exit, it's shorter, but there's enemies, so you have to kill them. And there's no way of getting past the enemies, you actually have to kill them. And secondly, once you get out of here, there's a signpost. Once you get out of the back exit, you have to walk for like ages until you get to the signpost. And I want to teleport now. The second map, I bought 2 maps when I entered Skulga for the first time. The second map's gonna come in handy now because it uncovered a signpost, which I will be traveling to right here. What time is it? 5 p.m. Okay, for this quest to work, it needs to be, I believe, at least 9 p.m. So, yeah. Mount onto this boat. Hopefully, it doesn't glitch out as well. No, fine. I kind of just go over to this huge armada of ships, and they have to sneak onto one of the ships. And that's the last thing that happens in this split. And then I'll be able to see whether I'm ahead or behind. It's hard to tell at this point. There's still quite a couple of things that go on here. I might actually be behind a tiny bit. So yeah, they all have these lights shining into the water, so you could swim around the lights, or you could just dive underneath them and thereby evade any and all detection until you get to the ship that you're supposed to be at.
Lucid Will!
Lucid Will? What are you talking about?
Hold! It's the Witcher! Emperor's order!
So yeah, they want to shoot me, but then the Emperor's like, nope, we need him. Head up here, and I'm about to get to the finale part. Still just a bit of dialogue remaining. So it looks like I will actually be ahead. Just a tiny bit. There we go. There's a couple of parts, a couple of boss fights here. With Ciri, for now, I just basically jump past all these enemies. And I go to this guy who I have to fight. But I only have to fight him for a tiny bit because then Geralt takes over. And wait, no, never mind. Wait, I just completely bugged out the game. Oh boy. I just made the game think that he's fighting Ciri and not Geralt, and yet I'm fighting him with Geralt. This is interesting. Basically, he fights completely differently when he fights Geralt, but for some reason he still fought the same way that he fights Ciri. I guess I just killed him that quick. I don't even know. The whole Caranthir fight that I just did, it has like 2 different ways to bug out, and that was one of them. Usually there's no issues with it, but sometimes it can mess up, like the following boss fight against Eridan, who's like the king of the Wild Huns. That boss fight is scary, not because you can like die, but because there's a chance that it bugs out and the boss just can't take any damage anymore. He just stops taking damage from whatever attack you give him. And at that point, you have no choice but to reload. Yay. And even though this is not confirmed or anything, I feel like the 2 boss fights have some kind of combination or connection, so that if one's bugged out, the other one's most likely also going to be bugged out. That just seems logical. I don't know though. It's nothing confirmed. Yeah, right there. It should bring him to the next stage. Yes, there we go. Alright. So I got that bug, but luckily I did enough damage to him to get to the next stage. Which is this ice world. From now on I should be free to go. Free to finish the boss fight without any game-breaking bugs. And by the way, you can just Ren spam the final boss of the game easily. He can't protect himself against that. Okay, he's over there. Follow him into his portal. And head back, after which I will attempt to rend him once, that's enough to end the fight. Okay, that was a pretty decent Aerodin fight for the fact that it did kind of bug out. There's a way to do it a lot faster, but it only works if that bug doesn't happen. So maybe one day I really need to try and figure out what exactly causes it and how to prevent it. Because that's like good 20-second time save, at least. How's the final boss fight though? Over. It's kind of a joke. But yeah. Of course on Death March it would be a lot more difficult. This is the easiest difficulty after all. And now the world's kind of like ending. Yennefer tells me to stay close to her, but I don't want to do that. Because she's really slow. So I just run ahead. And yeah. We get to another kind of risky part. Where I get very close to death, but since I got that Undying skill, I should be completely safe from it. In order to get up here without Yennefer, you do need to know the way. And with all the portals and the explosions and whatnot, it's a bit difficult to determine that sometimes, but yeah, it works just fine. And it's a lot faster than waiting for her to run beside you and pick up the horse and all those things. Use the swallow there, regeneration potion, because I need all the HP I can get in order to get through this next part here. Because we're about to go back into Blizzard, and for some reason the particles are back down. Yeah, this is what it should have looked like. I don't know why it suddenly came back now. It's what it should have looked like in that old ice world. But yeah, I get some cover, I use my Quen here. Technically Yennefer should be protecting me here with her, like, sphere orb, I guess, but since I don't wait for her, she doesn't do that. So I just have to get to the cutscene trigger on my own. Hopefully before dying. It's usually very close, but again, since I do have Undying, I'm safe from dying. Unless the game decides to bug out. Sometimes the skill just doesn't want to work and you just die. But I generally try to not even let it come to that, so most of the time I survive with just a slimmer of HP left, and that's just the safest way to go about it. And the fastest. There we go. 6 more seconds saved. Get into the last boss fight here. This is the final. This is the ending. One of the 3 possible endings. The worst one. It's very sad. But you can skip part of this ending. And that's why it makes it the best one. And there's a boss fight, so that just depends entirely then on how fast you can kill the boss. Technically, a part of this ending is to talk to that werewolf, but you can just, you know, run around him in a wide radius and skip that entirely, then run here into the swamp, which you spent some time in earlier, and kill the last crone, because when you fought those crones with Ciri earlier on, one of them escaped, and so Geralt goes to find her now, because he kind of like wants revenge, and I forgot to get off my horse, so we're looking at Geralt dismounting here for a while. Whatever.
Changed. You suffer. You seek death, I feel it. I know the smell of a sword.
Okay, she instantly teleported away. That's kind of unlucky.
That little whore. Cursed blood.
Rending is a good way to deal with this one, but it doesn't always. Yeah, I mean, oh my goodness, I got like 4 crits in a row there. So the game ends as soon as this last cutscene starts, which is right now, and that is a PB. Actually, pretty decent. Well, almost a minute. Anyway, I'm not going to play through this cutscene. It's a very sad cutscene. And of course, then the ending can also be skipped. Yes, that was The Witcher 3 80%. It's a long run, a lot of stuff in it, a lot to consider, but in the end, the mechanics are not that complex. And it's kind of a little journey every time. So, if you look at my splits, of course, I went back and forth, you know, a minute ahead, a minute behind. Again, my optimized time without the auto hotkey was 3 hours 15 minutes. That could have been improved upon as well, but this is like a completely new region because I'm doing this with the auto hotkey, which takes away a bunch of time just by skipping dialogue. So that still has to be explored a bit more, but for now, that was the run. I think I said everything I had to before. I'm not going to make this any longer than it really has to be. Yes, I hope that was in some way enjoyable. Again, I don't know, repeat this a lot, but I just feel like it's a journey, this speedrun. It's special, unlike all the other categories in this game, and unlike most other speedruns. That being said, thank you.